Welcome to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Lot 43. Look at these dark ass brewskis.
Oh man, it smells real good.
Tastes pretty good.
Yeah, it tastes real good.
Nice.
Real good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Shout out Urban Roots, you guys. I am
Dude.
serious when I say they might be.
Check out the can. Another sick can by him, too.
It's pretty. Yeah, they do have all really good themed cans because this is called Geeks of the Industry. It's a limited release Baltic Porter and it hits on all fronts. It's got a delicious mouthfeel. It's got that nice malty and also roasted flavor, but it's not overbearing, right? Like it
That
kind of
flavor is good.
yum.
Yeah, it tastes really good.
All right, so we got to figure out a way to not bump the table so much or turn those bumpings down.
Can you tell us what makes it a Baltic porter?
Ooh, that's a great question. It would rely more on the fact that there's no sweetener to it.
Really?
Baltic, yeah, but it basically means that it's dry stored. And like because they had to transport it, right? Baltic porters and like IPAs. It's one of the reasons why IPAs are so fucking bitter. They had to find a way to keep the beer while they could transport it, and Baltic porters fell under that. So there is not any like added flavoring, caramel, anything like that. Baltic is as straightforward as you can get with malts and barley.
It tastes good. I like it a lot.
Oh, it's one of the backbones of dark beer, if you will. Like every other beer kind of works somewhere off of this palate, right? Like them peas.
What's your did you tell us the percentage, Charlie?
7.8. And for 10 in the morning, I gotta tell you, it's hitting pretty good.
Yeah,
Where
it's
we-
an easy drinker.
Where are we brewed at here?
Sacramento, California,
Oh,
just
so
over the hill. Just over the hill.
This is what, like our fourth, fifth
I don't
Urban
know.
Roots?
I keep bringing them,
3,
dude.
4, 5?
I keep bringing them.
More
yeah.
than 3. Are we at the 5 or are we at 4?
I think we're at 5. I
5?
think because we did Pile of Kittens.
That one was good.
Yeah, that was. I brought a couple of the fucking throwback to when we were doing it in Trevor's house because we had like it was something Galaxy.
Yeah.
Remember it was that
Yep.
milk. It was the lactose IPA that they had, and it was phenomenal. And yeah, shout out to Urban Roots. They are doing it right on all fronts. Yeah.
I had went to dinner last night, had a very good Imperial Stout. It's called the Strike Brewing Big Wall Stout. It was a 9%er.
And you were fine with that, huh?
Well,
because it wasn't barrel aged, it was just a traditional Imperial.
correct, my friend.
Copy that.
It's a Beastly Export Stout. Is chewy, balanced, and a complex roasted grain. Espresso, dark chocolate, and tobacco. And you got the tobacco right up front.
Really?
When Angelique tasted it, she said, I wouldn't even need you to have told me that there was tobacco in it, and I could have tasted it right off the front. That's what Angelique said when she had it. She had an icky. I had that. It was delicious, 9%. It poured real well. It was one of those heavy stouts, like it wasn't
One and
19.
done.
Yeah, it was
Nice.
one and done for sure. I don't know if I could have done. I can do a lot of 2s. That one might have been a one and done. It was pretty heavy. It was delicious, but very heavy. Anybody else had a brewery or a different beer as of recently?
Yeah. So do you want me to run with this money?
Go for it.
All right. Last Sunday was the last weekend of the regular season. So rest in peace, Seahawks. We're gonna get into all of that a little later. But I shared a wonderful barrel-aged red from Imbibe
Wow.
with my pops, and it was fantastic.
That sounds.
How much barrel age did you get in it?
Honestly, it was enough to know it was Fry Ranch whiskey barrels with
Fray Ranch?
Yeah, Fray Ranch, yeah, with their red, and it was perfect. It was very good in the sense of what are you gonna smack me?
No, back up.
Back up. You back up. It was very tasty, man. I have to, and it was a 10%er.
Ooh, wow.
So that's a local brewery. We've shouted them out several times.
Your
That is-
favorite, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, and for locals, yes, Lead Dog is right there. They
That's
are
my-
nipping on their heels.
That's
as
my
it were.
that's my
Yeah,
favorite.
I-
Nice play on words.
They're solid. They are so good. We have so much good beer here in Reno. I'm so thankful for it. But yeah, that was probably the crown jewel that we drank over the weekend. And then last night, while I was doing some editing and hanging out and whatnot, I had a coconut porter
Ooh.
from Crux Brewing, And that was pretty good. That drank at a 6.4, if I remember correctly.
How was the coconut in it?
Not as forward as I was hoping for.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Because that would have been. I was thinking that's got to be a pretty good, like with the sweet
The
of the coconut.
balance is what
yeah.
pulled me in. The idea of the coconut with the malt and the roast, and it was like, okay, this could be really good. And it wasn't that it wasn't there. It just was very much a straightforward porter, which I completely enjoy every time. You know, it's a lot like this right here. But then I had a wild fermented cider from New York.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was.
I'm a big cider fan.
Yes, but I honestly, I don't think you would have liked this one. It was fermented to the point where it was it soured for sure, and I liked it because that's you know kind of the road I like to go to. I was aiming for a sour to begin with, but then I couldn't really find one that was in my price range that blew my skirt up because some of these dude, I'm serious, some of these motherfuckers that they be putting out, there was a couple 27, 28, 29, and I'm talking about for like 16 ounces, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm in the mood to spend that kind of money for
100%, 100%.
So I did get a fancy cider though. That thing still clocked in at like 15 or 17 bucks itself, and it was tasty. It drank at a fucking 8%, and it went down nice and easy.
Talking
about your money?
Fancy, I actually preview for next pod. I picked up the revision coconut. I think chocolate. I think it's a stout.
God, all of that sounds great.
Yes.
This is the most money I've spent on a beer in a while.
Tell me.
It was a 4-pack.
Okay.
$32 each.
$10 is $40.
Damn.
So I look for that coming up in the next pod. I'm sure.
What? They're 16 ounces. They're the 4-pack of those. Yeah. If you think about it, that's not the worst deal.
That's really all that Reno breweries put out are like the 16. So 4-pack of 16.
That is true. You don't see a lot of 12ers anymore. 6-packs. They're not really a thing.
You don't really get the 6s. It's all the 4. It's all usually 4 of the 16.
I think it's the Brewers Cabinet and Great Basin are really the only two breweries that I can think of that do like 6ers still. Everybody else is the 4-packs.
Then if you get like a little 12, it's not a little 12. It's just a regular 12. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Let's jump into.
Man, what a crazy week it's been. This is one of those weeks where honestly we didn't have to write shit. It just happened. There's so much news. We can just kind of pick out what's going on.
Let's start with Monday night. Sorry, Charlie. Start Monday night. It went down exactly like we said it couldn't go down. Michigan's defensive 4 put all the pressure they needed to without really having to bring heat. He couldn't go deep at all. When the opportunities were there, missed running routes, not connecting.
He was off.
And he was a little off. The receivers were a little off. Maybe the game was a little big.
I mean, I was pretty impressed, though, with the front 4 of Michigan. Like, Texas has a good front 4, too, and it wasn't that bad.
Michigan's front 4 attacked, dude. Attacked all game. And then on the defensive side, we said Washington needed to stop the run, and that did not happen. Corum and Edwards went off in the first quarter, and that kind of sealed, like, the deal. Couldn't really come back from it, and then at the end of the game, it finally just got away from Washington. They weren't, able to execute. We all watched it together. What would let's go Trev and Chuck, since Chuck is a Washington fan. Trev, what was your assessment of kind of the game in general, quarterback play, coaching?
I mean, I think you summed it up pretty well as far as what dictated that game. I don't think this really hurts Penix too much in the draft coming up. I still think he goes relatively high, probably the 4th guy off the board. But it was a rough outing for Washington on offense. It started slow, and they started to get into it, and then the Wolverines just shut them down, and that was that pretty much. But let's hear from the Washington fan.
Man, and it's coupled by the news that we're gonna jump into after as well, so it's a double dagger.
Just roll. Why don't you just roll in? Just roll into it.
We'll give it all. We'll give you the whole shebang, the whole enchilada. When we came out in the second half down 17-10 with the ball, and the first play was a pick on an out route that he knew he shouldn't have thrown.
Yeah.
That's when the switch flipped entirely, because we came down the field, we secured that touchdown to go into halftime. It was like, okay, settle down, we can do this, we have the team. This is before Penix was getting touched, but he wasn't hurt yet. He got hurt later in the game, and it was pretty bad. Like there was a moment when we were down by 3 scores, and he's out there. And it's like, okay, you guys, like, I get it. But he was, like, hurt, exactly.
Holding his rib.
Visibly hurt. Not like, okay, you know, he looks fine for now, and then he'll be a sore, you know, after the game. Like, he was having a hard time breathing.
Well, I think the one thing, too, is remember that play when he got stepped on by his lineman?
That doesn't help. Absolutely.
And
Ankle,
I think that we were talking during the game, the one that he got stepped on, he wasn't able to kind of, like, he was high.
That was
because
the
he can't drive down.
That was the pick.
Yeah, and he can't get the ball to get here because he's not. Everything's high because he got
bastard should have just thrown it away. But Penix, I do want to say overall, I wish you the best with however this upcoming draft process goes, and you know. It was a magical run in the fact that, like, if you would have asked me at the start of the year, Chuck, put $100 on the Huskies making the championship game, because that's a huge bet right out of it. It's not necessarily picking the winner, but picking the game secures a big bet. Oh my goodness, because we started out, I want to say, around like 14 preseason, so we did a lot of battling, and we beat Oregon twice in the last conference, you know, in the conference Pac-12. Yeah, exactly. Like, we beat SC, we beat everybody we needed to. Like, in that sense. And yeah, we fell short against a fucking stacked Michigan team. Let's be real about the fact that this is finally the team that Harbaugh had been trying to build for 5, 6, 7 years or whatever. Yeah, so this is the crown jewel of his, and now they're saying he might bounce. So he might be technically a one and done in the chip section. But overall, I just think that, you know, it was exactly the thing we were afraid of. That defensive line ate up that offensive line because we hadn't seen, like, it was voted number 1, but we hadn't played the Georgia. We hadn't played, you know, these guys that are clear, you know, prospects in the NFL. Some of these lines that we've been playing were in.
You know what gave me hope, though, is that, like, Texas has got those 2 D linemen.
Sure.
They're
and
rated,
we blocked them well.
Are rated like 3 and 4 or something in the, like, defensive tackles going in the draft, so that gave me hope. But it wasn't the interior that got you. It was the guys coming around the edge.
It sure was. And then they when they surprised us with linebackers and safeties, they did a lot of different packages. They did a lot of different packages, and it confused Penix. And unfortunately, I think that might impact. Maybe because it really shows like where the weakness in his game is, and if he doesn't get to a place that has a competent offensive line, he can't make it up on the spot. He's got to be on his spot. He's got to get to where he wants to go and then throw the ball, and the receiver's got to be there.
He plays in the rhythm. He plays in the rhythm of the football game. Right. He doesn't do the off script well. He's more in the rhythm. You hit the back foot.
You want 7 to 10 scripted plays. This one sets up. This one sets up. This one sets up. This one, like,
he's gonna come
penalty free.
Yep, he's gonna come in and roll in a team that can block, and that he has a coach that is going to get him in the plays where he's like, boom, hand off here, big play, underneath, with a clean offense line, hitting his back foot and driving the ball downfield or driving the ball over the middle. He can make every throw.
Yeah,
you know, it's about hitting the back foot and the ball's got to come out.
Overall, tip of the cap to Michigan.
Yes.
Congratulations, hell of a season. Even though you're probably the most villainized team of this year, with Harbaugh being suspended twice and all sorts of different shit swirling around the program, I guess you still get to hold the, you know, it's not a glass ball, it's that fucking Dr. Pepper trophy. I like the crystal ball was way better as a trophy for the BCS. But to bleed into what the next topic for the big NCAA news is there's obviously the biggest one is Saban retiring.
Yeah,
but I do want to real quick shout out my boy Kalen. Thank you for coming. And
I'm sad he left.
Big time, because now I don't know what's going to happen with the madness of the transfer portal, and like all these kids that might have come up there to play in this system could now easily just say, well, screw that, like I want to go somewhere else.
Quarterback already went back into the transfer portal.
Mississippi State. I didn't read that, but there you go. That. Okay, so I mean it's going to be a mass exodus, which is terrifying. But Kalen DeBoer, Thank you for your 2 years. I mean, we got as close to a chip as we're gonna get in a while now, based off of like it's the free fall is gonna happen, and it's like especially transferring to the Big Ten where there's no there's some easy opponents at the bottom of the schedule, but
with the way the roster was assembled, it's a step back.
Dude, we are going to
at least one season.
Because you were a very senior laden team.
It all depends. It all depends on who we can replace them with.
Yeah,
you got dudes coming. You're losing tons of dudes to the draft. You know, it's a very senior laden team. Your running back just went today. I saw
he committed.
Johnson.
Yep.
So very senior laden team.
Declared. I'm sorry. It's going to be. Dude, I'll be realistic with you. It's not going to be one step back. It's going to be several steps back. We could be like a 4-8, 4-9 team next year.
It really depends on who the next guy is, I think, more than anything.
And now the potential quarterback that we were even looking at that had experience under his belt at least is gone. So we're throwing up our hands big time. And
portal's still open.
Something will happen.
I mean, they are still the Huskies. It's not like it's a bad program, a bad school. There's history there. That program's been running for 100+ years. Like, you know what I mean? So it's not a chump school. Like it's a school for somebody to get to, but we'll see.
All right, let's give a shout out to the GOAT, Nick
College
Saban,
GOAT for sure,
retiring.
Cheers for the Empire.
Cheers to you, Nick Saban.
I mean, we're also cheersing for the idea that
we love to hate you, Nick
exactly.
Saban.
Watching Alabama take a step back will also be okay.
Yeah, much respect for Saban.
He's the GOAT of college football.
He's a great coach. He's just tired of Alabama pretty much. So
I mean, but it's the longest dynasty we've seen since the Brady era, and that ended a little while ago in New England, which we'll obviously get to too.
13 SEC titles. 6 national championships at Alabama. He has 7 because he won the one at LSU.
LSU sure did.
Dude, we saw him change it. I mean, we talked about, I think 2 pods ago, about maybe one of the biggest what ifs of all time in sports history is if Drew Brees signs with the Dolphins, does Nick Saban ever go back to Alabama? And then Alabama, maybe Nick Saban's still in the NFL. Maybe Nick Saban doesn't go to Bama because he's in the NFL and then goes somewhere else. Him going to Bama set up probably one of the greatest college dynasties ever with what he recruited and how dominant they were.
Classes were insane.
And I think you have to take into account the era that he did it in.
Correct.
Because there have been absolutely dominant previous eras in college, but that's when there was like 12 teams. Okay?
And there wasn't the movement, there wasn't everything else.
No.
Also, dude, we know why he's done. He fucking hated the NIL and he fucking hated the transfer portal. College football coaching. I don't think I would have said it would have been. I would have said it would have been a longer off season in the college football coaching world than the NFL years ago. Like NFL, maybe you got to work harder. College football now, you have to work every fucking month of the year. There is no off time. You're recruiting your own players to stay. You're recruiting players from other fucking teams. And you're recruiting fucking high school. Dude, it's insane now. The transfer portal and everything. Dude, he said he was exhausted after this year. But,
yeah,
dude, it's so much work now for college coaches.
He said it wasn't that, but I agree. I think that was in the back of his mind because you had Milroe coming back. I thought he was going to do one more year. But even with him leaving this year, probably, arguably, one of the, if not the greatest coach ever in football.
Yes.
College football, at least. Definitely college football, but maybe even football.
Dude, he ranks up in football too with what he
yes.
I mean, he's obviously we'll talk about the other one next, or not next, but in the next segment. Nick Saban does have to go up as like a top coach in all football history of what he did. Think about the dudes when you can go through those years and those teams. Look how many fucking players that teams put out.
Ridiculous amount.
And then obviously Charlie touched on who's filling in for him.
That's exactly where I was going to go. And guess who signed the paperwork just yesterday, officially breaking my heart?
Yep. And he did.
I can't blame him. If he takes what he built in Indiana, then to Washington, and he takes that program
Fresno State,
Bama. I'm sorry,
he went to Fresno State too. Remember, and he was really good at Fresno State.
So I mean, you're looking at a guy who I think his winning percentage is over 700, like
something like that,
between Division 2 and Division 1, like total wins.
His career winning
it's
percentage.
phenomenal. Yeah. So bringing that to a team where, okay, now let's be real in the sense that, like, I understand you have to recruit on 3 different levels, but DeBoer going in there, like, I think he's only in like his 40s, so he's younger, so
Correct.
he's got a little bit more gas in the tank, and I think that Bama is just going to go right back into
it's just the brand too.
that. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Nick Saban made it.
Exactly, but he's going to be able to go to show up in living rooms and be like, "Come play for Bama. You're going to make a dick load of money. You're going to be on national TV all the fucking time, and you're going to the NFL."
Do you want to follow a Nick Saban?
100%.
I think.
Do you want to be the next coach, or don't you want to be the coach after the next coach? Like, so if the next coach isn't good, then you're like, hey, that guy wasn't good, and you're not necessarily following the dude.
Nope.
Listen, I think that he is the coach.
I think he's a stud.
The game where it is for college football. And yes, the way that it's set up, he might not win as much as Nick Saban, but I think that's the best hire that they could have made, actually.
I do too.
And I still expect them to win a couple more national championships.
Sorry, Charlie. I was expecting him to get calls from the NFL, so I think he's the up and coming dude.
Yeah, I was kind of leaning that direction too, but maybe he's like, hey, bro, look at this nest egg that Saban built. I could nestle in right there. I can get this machine turning again. Like, Milroe's gonna be a stud. Like, that is one of the only upgrades I would say clear up. Like, that job's not coming available again unless like the next guy flutters instantly. But like, DeBoer obviously isn't going to do that with that talent and with it, dude. He's been able to coach lesser talent to more success, to be able to basically have true number ones across the board. Yeah, dude, it's going to be insane. And that SEC better watch out. It's not that they aren't already on high alert for Alabama, but goddamn, what a hire!
The favorites have got to be Georgia and Alabama coming into the season.
Well, Ole Miss has had some really good classes coming.
I don't buy into Kiffin. I never have. I think that guy's a chode.
I
put him on my shit list, dude.
I like Lane a lot.
I can't stand Lane. I'd punch him in the throat.
Got me off target there.
Sorry, I know he's just a fart sniffer, dude. I can't stand that fucking guy.
Yeah, I think DeBoer's the real deal. You know, the other dude would have been Dan Lanning, but I think Dan Lanning and Oregon brings it, like, Oregon's kind of him now. I don't know if he ever leaves Oregon. He kind of seems to be like the dude, or I don't know. He kind of fit seems like he kind of fits. I don't know how to like.
Give me that Nike money though.
Yeah, exactly. You kind of like Oregon's a school you don't really leave, I guess, unless you go to your school. But I don't know if he has a school.
Well, he was an assistant at under Saban at Bama. That's why they targeted him first.
And then he said no. He said right off the bat, "I'm
right."
Like,
which
boom.
I honestly was hoping that's what DeBoer was gonna do. Hey, I want to build something here in Washington. We got something going, but he knows that we're going to be taking a step back.
Yeah, I think it's a bit different. With Oregon, I think it's more of a parallel move because in the landscape that it is now, they are right there with their pockets. As far as competing.
Dude, them kids love them jerseys and they love them shoes and they love everything.
To be able to wear different shit all the time.
The aura around Oregon's like just merchandising alone when it comes to that is big to some kids, dude. Remember, these are kids. These are 19, 20, like impressionable. Hey, bro, come wear, Oregon this and Dan Lanning's going to run you all over the fucking field. You're going to get crazy stats, and eventually you're going to get into a video game. Eventually, EA, you fuckers. How about that?
Season.
Teased us.
Well,
didn't give us that damn preview.
Let's close it out with congrats, Nick, on a fucking crazy college year, and DeBoer. I think they got the right dude. I do think he's the right dude down there.
What a crazy little carousel that was, though, right? Like, how crazy is that? I mean, fuck, man. Like, I do wish you the best overall, I guess, but bummer. Bummer for the Huskies. Catch for the Tide. I think that they were smart to hop on it quick. There's no controversy. You got the dude. He gets to dial in for the upcoming season now. Like, there's, you don't have to waffle. You can go and hit the transfer portal even harder now because I guarantee you DeBoer will use that to his advantage.
Yep.
Like, just because Saban is gone doesn't mean that, like that school, that Bama brand, like you had just mentioned, has been built. And it was definitely rebuilt by Saban. It was, they were known in the past, before it all took, like modern college football. They basically ruled, like, before, let's be honest about it, the black athlete came into play is when Bama was good. Bear Bryant was before all of that. So Saban really took modern football and just absolutely dumped it on its head in college football. So I think DeBoer can continue that machine. I really do, which sucks.
Let's jump into just a little bit of b-ball talk. I don't think we have much, but Kawhi Leonard signed an extension, 3-year, $151 million, I think it is. I'm trying to find it.
Have 3 more years in the league?
That's what I said. I said, what the fuck are you kidding me?
That's a lot of fucking money.
He's played really good this year, and he's played a lot of games.
That's
but
true.
Dude, he didn't play last year. He didn't play the fucking year before. Did he play the year before that?
Right. It's been like a 5 to 7 year stretch, basically since he left Toronto.
I mean, the NBA usually just gives those players money. If I would be a little bit more stricter with it, though. I think I'd have some clauses in that contract for games.
And we don't get to see there could be, maybe there is, but I don't think it is. I think it's a straight 151, dude. I can't find it right now.
I gotta tell you, as this motherfucker opens up, you guys, it gets better really and better. Oh yeah, it really rests in that like multi area. Super good.
In other news, though, for at least my Warriors, everybody on the trade block except for Curry, which I'm not surprised by. I do want to keep Wiggins, though. He just has been in a funk. It's been a bad year. I don't know what's going on.
He's been non-existent. He's on the court. You might as well just play with 4 dudes.
I guess I'm gonna sidebar within this. It isn't an NBA related topic, but shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay, last year we thought that Gobert trade was going to be absolute ass, and it didn't work out last year. But they're fucking figuring out their stroke going into the midway of this season. They really do. And Edwards is balling. They're communicating. Cat looks fucking good for the first time in his career. Like, this could watch out for that team, man. I just kind of want to throw that one out there.
While we're on a sidebar of watching out for teams, you know who else you got to watch out for?
Who ya?
My Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's true.
Don't mind me. I will. You guys, okay? Like, you might see the first assault on this fucking pod live.
Dude, they are sick, dude. They are sick. Chet Holmgren, SGA, and then the kid Giddy, right? Dude, they can.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
But let's get back into the Warriors. Yeah, dude, you guys
sidebar and no OKC love.
Dude, I got all the OKC love.
God damn it.
The Warriors are not playing up to standards. Do you see pieces being able to
they're like 12th in the West right now.
Do you see those pieces being able to move? Lakers ain't playing fucking good either. I don't even want to get into that.
Let's get into that.
I don't know if there's much. They just don't play like it's just like they take
the Lakers. This is the modern day Lakers. It's so weird. Post Kobe era, that once the Mamba mentality went out the window, I would say I have been, out of these 3 humans, the biggest LeBron fan. Like, Zach is a hater. I think Trevor is a tolerator. And I was like somebody who actually thought like LeBron should be put on a pedestal. And his LA career,
I think he should be.
His LA career though has been lackluster. Like, it's been not. I know it's his later half, but like, they were expecting him to bring, like, he got the bubble chip, but how many people really...
I would say it's less on him. I would say less on him as a player. His, like, stupid free agency
GM, as they
his
say.
Stupid Russell Westbrook coming over.
God.
Like, pushing for that was ridiculous. Because we've already mentioned that we could have had DeRozan, could have had Buddy Hield at them. Now we reset the team. But I don't think it's always him. It's been Anthony Davis. When he shows up, they are a very dominant team. And right now, some of those other players haven't been playing good. The Darvin Ham's lineups have been kind of off. It's been weird.
You guys have kind of fallen into the Lakers will Laker role now. Like, you guys have this moment where you go on like a 5 to 7 game win streak and you're like, oh, here they are, and then they just fucking shit the bed the next half of the month, and then like
that kind of speaks to the LeBron factor with me, or the regular season isn't that important.
I know,
and it's just the urgency isn't there for some of the games that they could win.
Well, I think that's
part of it slips through their fingers.
I think I put that with the age group.
Ooh,
like, it's an older team. Like, give me some younger fucking dudes, and then the urgency's there all the time. Like, I hope we make a trade. Like, I hope D'Lo we trade to the Bulls. I hope, and we get at least. I would love to get my boy back.
Do you want Draymond?
Fuck, never. Fucking never.
He's got,
dude.
he's
What
got
do you think
the,
you're
trying to
fucking-
move that
he's
guy.
got the Lakers spirit, you know. He likes to punch people in the face like Meta World Peace.
Now,
I
since
would've-
I brought him up, I'm sorry, just to cut you off, but man, I was hoping he would have retired. When I heard that talk, I was like, damn it, Commissioner, what are you
Don't
doing?
let him back
Silver?
in. Don't let him back
encourage
in.
that.
All right, so since we're killing it on the NBA right now, I wrote down a question because one came to me last night or yesterday or something of that nature. That I'm NBA in-season tourney. Should they run? Oh, Jesus, should they run a second NBA season tourney towards the end of the year to like, you know, because if they're saying this thing was such a success and these games meant so much and players played so hard, we still have what? Another 3 months of regular season games.
Maybe.
Should there potentially be either do it later, just do one and do it later,
I think you
or
do it
do
la-
two, one kind of in the start and then one kind of
I
towards
think
the
you do
end?
it later. I think later would have been funner, anyways, because then you keep that playoff roll.
Right. But so that's what I'm saying though, because
Just the
I
timing, I think, is
hearing about it now, and like, you know, oh, they cared about it so much. Okay, so what is now? Where are we now? Do people not care? Do they only care during the end when there's extra incentive? Like, you're just saying the LeBron mode with not giving a shit about the regular season. What if you do two and you incentivize more towards the later end of the year rather than just the playoff push? Because those teams that are out of the playoff push will push those
Yes.
teams in the playoff push because they want the cheddar.
I
They want
mean-
the cheddar.
I mean,
It's
How
a
about
nice
that?
idea, Charlie.
How about that?
earlier, I believe you were kind of on the fence though about this tournament.
I'm always, dude, you guys, I'm the most
It turned out to
leery
be pretty well.
motherfucker.
Do pretty well.
Oh yeah, no, we highlighted that in a pod, you know, when we went into it, all the games meant just a little bit more.
Just a little bit more.
Everybody was a little bit happier with it. The viewership was up. It clearly worked. So why not make that towards the end of the season too? It can't.
One
You can
before and
negotiate
after
if you can build
All-Star.
in the games during the start of the season. You can build in the games later in the season. You can fucking figure it out. Logistics will let that happen if you want to make it happen.
I got a little baseball note before we jump into the NFL playoffs this weekend. Before we pick those games, a couple signings. Stroman signs with the Yankees for a 2-year, $37 million, and the Yankees also gave Soto a $31 million contract, which is the richest
1
in
year.
arbitration. Yeah, because it's an arbitration contract.
But still, that's
So 1 year, yeah. So he gets one. Pete Alonso got an arbitration contract at 20.5.
What
so
does it mean to arbitrate? Can you give us a little breakdown
I
on
fucking
that?
don't know. Some
Okay.
stupid baseball thing where they have
I was
like
gonna
so
say-
many years of arbitration when you sign. I don't know. It's fucking weird. That's
Baseball is weird in contracts.
the contracts are super weird.
They are. They are. They have been for years.
And then the Giants traded or signed Jordan Hicks. He's been a reliever for most of his career, and they're saying they're turning him into a starter. So that'd be interesting to see where that goes. But just a little baseball news. Still got some of those free agents out there. Bellinger and all them are still out there. But let's jump into the super wild card
Yeah,
weekend, as
because
they
they
call it.
added a game because now only the 1 seed gets the rest. This fucking guy right here. Shout out to the fucking cool poster that we put up in the back there.
Yeah, you can't quite see it.
It's a little blurry.
It's all the way back from the
It's-
Civil War era when the Niners won their last Super Bowl.
It is from the last Super
It's
Bowl
in
win.
black and white.
We got some players on there: Young, Sanders, Floyd, Rice, Waters.
I just want to shout
McDonald.
out that this championship hat that I'm wearing was won in my lifetime. So you know it's something that actually matters.
That was
one-
my lifetime.
Yeah, that was
bro.
94.
Child 94. What happened? And that was pre-internet. Nobody had documentation.
We were 9. We were 9. Trevor might have been 10.
Oh my lord. Yeah, you guys were still getting dressed by your mothers.
So let's jump into the
Watching them win the Super Bowl, I'll tell you that much.
let's jump into the playoff games.
It's only on VHS, you guys.
Let's jump into the playoff games. Charlie Roscoe.
Let's get it. Okay.
Who we got playing today?
Okay, so for the first matchup is actually one of our pod bets. It's the Browns at the Texans, and the line is it's moved to 2.5. We got it at 2. We got Cleveland at 2, and we took that. That's one of our pod bets. Check us out on the X and what's the other one we like to post on Instagram? That's right, the Gram, as it were. Also ties into Facebook when we post it on the Gram. So shout out to all those social medias to get us some likes, some love hearts, and some comments and all that fun stuff.
We took
We took the Browns. This was my pick. I know C.J. Stroud was absent from their first match, so it could be, he could definitely provide some much-needed juice.
I just feel Anderson's a bit banged up, and with missing Tank Dell,
that doesn't help. That doesn't help.
Be good enough to take them.
I think the Browns' defense is playing outstanding right now, so that kind of gives them a upper. And I think that the offense is just playing so free.
If Flacco gets on that same page with Njoku and Cooper like he has been, they're gonna torch the Texans. The later half since Flacco's come in, he's put up almost like 100 every game. It's been insane,
dude.
Exactly,
it exactly has to do with your quarterback, dude. There are some and coach too. Some teams don't use the tight end, and some quarterbacks don't like throwing to the tight end.
Honestly, dude, I love Mo. I love momentum. And I feel like the Browns have the juice right now.
Dude, they got a lot of juice.
They got a lot of juice. So yeah, that one we were pretty consensus on. So Browns to cover that one. Next up, and this is okay. Sidebar into a common sense as well.
Yes, this is our common sense of the week. This fucking bullshit ass fucking peacock shit is ridiculous. Are you fucking kidding me? That we don't get to watch this shit on national fucking television, and we gotta subscribe to fucking Peacock to watch this fucking game? NFL, suck a fucking dick, you greedy ass pieces of shit. That's fucking bullshit.
TVMA right there. No, I can 100%. Are you kidding me? You only get so many playoff games. I took the Chiefs. You can do this whole thing with the regular season, I suppose, because you already whore out the regular season. But the playoffs,
give it to us. Why do we have to fucking go find it?
ABC, Fox, ESPN, but that's ABC. Basically, yeah.
For us, it's 2, 4, fucking 8.
11.
And 11.
Yeah.
Give us the love.
So it is. So he alluded to the Chiefs. This is actually another pod bet. So we have 2 pod bets today.
Yep. I took the Chiefs and the fact that I just think that it's going to be so fucking cold there.
It's supposed to be minus 30 plus, right?
The Dolphins are missing 7 defenders.
Well, still, yeah, whatever.
The Dolphins are missing 7 defenders. They fucking have no edge rushers right now. They had to bring guys in off the street. Howard's out.
Tua loses everything in the tundra. Like when it's cold, he loses. So
he doesn't win when it's minus 30.
Right? Yeah. There's nothing in the favor of Miami right here. Literally nothing.
And if there's wind, Patrick's arm is up there with the Josh Allen's. Tua's arm, he throws a nice ball. His arm isn't up even close to where those dudes are tossing balls.
Not lengthwise.
I have a hard time making those throws.
Sure.
My only concern, I agree, I do like the Chiefs in this game. But the only concern is it's going to be hard for them to throw. I think not that Patrick can't get the ball there, just catching that cold ball with those receivers. Oof.
I think it's got to be I think it's going to be a big Travis Kelce game. I just think the Dolphins have nobody fucking. The Dolphins are so beat up. Is Mostert even playing today too? And A-Chain, he might.
I don't think Waddle is.
Yeah, dude, they are just. And Tyreek ain't 100%. And if you're not 100% in cold weather, you fucking hurt.
And it's only 4.5. The line's only 4.5.
This is the first.
I wish we would have got it at 3.
Huh?
Tyreek revenge game though. This is the first match.
No, they played this year.
Yeah.
They played in London or Germany.
Wasn't he out that game?
No, he got a big ball over the middle, I thought.
Dude, the fact of the matter is the Chiefs should roll this game. Like, they are the 4th seed, though, so if they do win this game, for the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, he's going to have to go on the road for a playoff game. So thank fucking God, dude. God damn Mahomes and the Chiefs.
That's ridiculous.
It is, isn't it? He's been the starter now for 5 years. He's been to 2 Super Bowl, or 3 Super Bowls and 1 2.
Must suck to be a Chiefs fan.
No, well, yeah, it's gonna soon, hopefully. Yeah, next year is our year, Cowboys, fuckers. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Next up is actually we're moving into Sunday's game.
That's what I was gonna say.
Packers at the boys.
Dude, the reason I didn't take this game is because
we hate betting on the boys.
Well, that, and I know Dallas is like a home. They've been killing a home. Dude, if that offense gets any kind of roll, they can, I just feel like the Packers are rolling so good right now.
I
It's just
will
the
say
momentum.
this, shout out to this matchup though, and the fact that this is classic NFC right here. This is old school teams that like do not really, they have a sidebar rivalry for sure.
And they're not playing at Lambeau, so Jordan Love, we've seen him make some incredible throws over the last like 6
and he's
weeks.
in a dome, baby.
Dude, they're going to be running
Weather's
down.
not going to be an option, or a detriment, or I guess
Yeah, you're going to see
a
Jordan,
variable.
You see Jordan Reed and Watson and Dobbs just being able to run all over that field and let him just air it out. Why not, dude? You were people didn't pick you to even make the playoffs
I
this
agree.
year.
Yeah, no, you go in there, LaFleur, and you just rip it. You let your offensive coordinator open that book up, and you just do everything.
He calls LaFleur calls.
LaFleur is the call. Oh yeah, no, then just bro. There's no reason to hold
And
back.
how many games have we seen this year where first play like Jordan Love deep to Christian Watson, Jordan Love to Jalen Reed, like
That
first
is true.
play, like late after the last like 8 weeks. Part of it at the beginning of the year, I think LaFleur was being a
more
little
protective.
and then he kind of opened it up, and we've seen him open it up. Jordan still throws some shitty picks, but dude, he's got a fucking cannon for an
But
arm.
it doesn't
fly,
matter.
brother.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, peel it all back. There's no reason to leave any percentage of that playbook undiscovered.
And that's the only reason. I think the Cowboys should win the game, but it's very nerve-wracking to bet that and know that you're rooting for the other team.
And guess what? I bet that.
Yeah, Trev did bet that.
I mean, my
I
bad
forgot.
if that goes wrong. I just felt like the Cowboys at home, that defense.
CD Lamb's been playing fucking
CD Lamb is the
First three
probably the
games
best
were
receiver.
were our pod bets.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, the first three off the top.
We
Again,
bet-
just that
we
defense.
bet the fucking Cowboys.
Again.
I did.
Trev,
I'm
that's
sorry.
the third time. Trev,
That's
I
betting
forgot.
with your.
It's-
That's
I
betting
forgot
with your
Trev.
head and not your heart.
I'm 1-1 with the Cowboys, but
I hate to say this, but let's go 2-1. And also, let's be real. Let's be real
They
in the
should win
sense
this game.
you want this because you want to see them in the NFC Championship game. The Niners Cowboys is the most compelling NFC Championship game.
It's
fucking
for
is
sure.
compelling.
The
I don't
NFL
really want
wants to see that. The NFL wants to fucking see
Well,
that.
you know what?
That'd
We're
be
part of the
money.
NFL. Wait,
What's
in
the
the
next?
NFC though, just to top that off real quick, I think they're the only team that really can challenge the Niners at this point until they get to the AFC.
I'm interested, very interested in the very next game we're about to talk about.
Let's talk about it.
Rams at the Lions.
Dude, I think the
Rams traveling to Detroit,
I
and they
think the Rams fucking roll.
roll. Are you okay? So, I mean, it was Detroit -3. Why didn't you play this game then?
Because I don't know. I thought about it, and I really do think high of the Rams in this game. The more and more I think about it, the Stafford in the dome, dude, he lit it up in that fucking stadium, and he's got no weather to throw against. The fucking Lions defense isn't very good. I think it's gonna be, what's the over under on this mofo? I bet this is a light 'em up game. I bet we get like
30
20
on each side.
You maybe get 30 on each side, or that 28-35. I think the Rams are going to, dude, I think the Rams are light the Lions up. And I think that's going to be the Lions defense that we thought improved secondary wise. Dude, the Lions, if you look at their like defensive stats and stuff,
Not great.
not great.
This is definitely the game that I'm looking forward to this weekend, though. Like
I really want
that's
to
the
watch this game.
Dude, you guys, here's what's gonna happen. I think that Dan Campbell's gonna get like Hulk mode if they're
he
losing
gonna
at
tackle
halftime.
somebody?
Literally Sean McVay. He's gonna find him in the tunnel.
Oh,
He's gonna
he's
beat the
not.
fuck out of him like a gorilla, and then the second half is gonna fall apart for the Rams, and the Lions are gonna win this game. Yeah, Dan Campbell's gonna go bite some kneecaps, bro. Like he didn't come to Detroit to lose no fucking playoff game.
I
Like
think they lose this game, dude. And I want to, I do.
I
really
think
do.
he's literally gonna put on a helmet and sneak out onto the field.
I almost bet the Rams in this
No,
game.
I
just
wanted to.
backed off because I was like, damn.
Given the line, the Rams
be
is
so
the
good.
it is a very that's almost a coin flip. But I think Ford Field's going to be rocking.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely gonna be rocking.
Oh, it's to be rocking.
The Lions can do this. This is as close to a toss up out of the first ones that we've read. This is the closer to the 50-50.
So
First
are you?
time
So
in-
I'm taking Rams. Trev.
I'm gonna go Lions.
Charlie Ross, go.
I know. I'm
Just
thinking
about it.
too.
I know.
First time in a long time though that we've had the Browns, the
Lions.
Lions, and the Texans in the playoffs.
Correct.
And the Bills. It's the first time ever, actually.
First time ever.
Ever
including
that
them.
they've all made it. Yeah, ever.
Who you like?
Golly, dude. Honestly, okay. McVay's a beast as a coach, and he knows what to do in the playoffs. And Kyron Williams has been hot, and Puka's been hot, and Cooper Kupp is. I gotta go Rams. I gotta go Rams just because McVay is so good that he will exploit that secondary, and Puka is gonna run them crossers to perfection. Like if he gets loose,
and Cooper Kupp's healthy too.
Oh, dude,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, no,
That's-
I know that's.
Dude, it could be like 35, fucking 30. Dude, it could be high.
Yeah,
Right.
that's something we all can
I
agree
kind of
on. This
lean
is an
on Zach's
offensive
opinion
game.
here. I traditionally like to argue with Zach, but this one I have to lean Rams, and I hate that. But okay, so you bet the Cowboys a lot this season. I bet the Rams a lot. I was high on the Rams. They covered. I think they went 2-1 for me too.
I
Yeah.
bet the Colts a lot. They got us
lost
early,
to
and
me.
then they lost us
hit
late.
us late. Yeah.
The next game is one of those games where I do go ahead and name it. I fucking am nervous about it, and it's not even my team, but it's kind of like my favorite player. So
You're really nervous about this game? Steelers at the Bills. They didn't move it, right?
No, that's what I'm worried about. They haven't moved it yet, and I don't think they can.
They've
now.
been whispering about moving. Yeah, now at this point, I don't know how they could. It's fucking Saturday.
That's what I was worried. I was like, dude, if you fucking move that, you're putting it in fucking
So
Cleveland.
Steelers at the Bills, but this line is 10.
Yeah, I
Buffalo
would
by
never
10.
never
That's
bet this
huge
line.
in a playoff game.
Yeah.
In a playoff game,
And
playoffs.
And it's not like it's a warm weather team going. It's not like it's a Dolphins. It's two cold weather teams. So the Steelers still no cold.
100%. There's some iconic photos of fucking dudes out there shirtless with the breath.
But all I want, dude, is Josh Allen to win. Get me into the Super Bowl. Josh, let's go, buddy.
This was a game I almost bet too, just because I thought that was a lot of points with the cold weather. But having TJ Watt out, I don't have confidence
certainly does
in the
not help.
Steelers with Mason Rudolph as their quarterback.
I don't have any confidence offensively. It's just two cold weather teams. It's going to be running the ball and who makes
And
it.
Najee's had a pretty good, and Jalen Warren is a beast too. So I mean,
Dude,
that's true. That's true.
He fumbles a lot.
If they can slow it down and get it towards that,
that's what
13 play drive kind of thing, keep the Bills off the field, then it could. Dude, games like this go to the running team more often than you think
Correct.
they do. But now you also can't give up explosive plays on defense. Like that's the biggest issue. It doesn't matter. Time of possession doesn't matter if Josh Allen goes out there and drops an 80-yard dime.
but it's hard to do that in the
It's
cold.
very hard to do that.
And
That's true.
TJ
That's true.
Watt is such a big part of their defense.
Correct.
They're gonna have Fitzpatrick, but
Yeah, he's coming back though, so it's not like he's 100.
Rusty,
not-
though. I mean, he's been out most of the season, so he's mad rusty. This isn't a game or two that he missed. He missed like 8 to 10 weeks, didn't he? Or like
Yeah.
even more than that. Like
Yeah,
he missed a lot of the year.
Weeks 4.
There you go.
Maybe.
Dude, we're talking 14 weeks then. 13, 14
4,
weeks.
6, something like that. He
Jeez,
was
yeah.
out a lot.
Stay healthy, Mika. Fuck yeah.
Dude,
You'll
he's a
help your team.
stud,
He
too.
is. You'll help your team big time if you can get out there.
The last game I wanted to bet, so we're all taking Bills, right? So we've been
Yeah.
consensus on everyone,
Not,
but the
not by
Lions.
that spread, though. I'm taking
No,
them
but
to
we're
win
taking-
the
we're-
game,
yeah,
but
no,
not
no,
the points.
right.
Fuck. That's
We're-
why we didn't bet it.
But so first, let's all start. We're all taking the Browns to win the game.
Yes.
We're all taking the Chiefs to win the game.
Yes.
We're all taking the boys to win the game, even though it makes us a little bit nervous in our going.
I took it.
We
I don't know
have
about
to.
you
We
guys.
have to.
Yeah,
I like money. At this
But-
point, we're committed. Put money on the money. So
But
we're,
without taking the money, you still think.
yes,
the
I
boys,
still think the boys are going to win this game.
we argued Lions and Rams.
Right.
We all were on the Bills.
Correct.
We
The
are-
only one we're split on is Rams Lions.
We are
We're
going
gonna
to
be
argue. We are
split
going
on
to
those
argue
two.
this one.
Well, yeah, because I think the Eagles are going to win,
I
even
do
with
not.
all their hiccups.
I like the Buccaneers. As
I
well.
would.
I'm
I
on
do
the
too.
same side with
I think
DC.
the Eagles are on a downfall. I think Nick Sirianni is going to have to take a hard look at that team.
Exactly, and I think you're reading too far into it. I think they're going to come out and stranglehold this fucking thing.
I don't think so.
The way, they just lost to the Giants.
and they just lost to the Cardinals the week before.
Playoff ball is different.
Not when you're sliding.
Not when AJ
Okay.
Brown is banged up.
That's true too. He
Jalen
just.
Hurts, I think, has been
Jalen
banged
Hurts
up
banged
all
up.
year. I think he's been banged up
I think
all
the
year.
Eagles, dude. I don't know.
That
I'm sorry. I
defense
just.
has underperformed all season.
That's true as well. That's true as well.
I think
it's
it is-
playoff ball. It's
I-
playoff ball. It's one and done. There's no more bullshit, dude. This roster is better than the Buccaneers. Now, okay, there is Chris Godwin and Mike Evans is an absolute stud. And when Kate Otten plays well and Rashad White has played, there's some pieces on that offense that could exploit this defense. I do not disagree with this. I think that there can very much be juice in Tampa Bay, especially because the Eagles have to go there, which is crazy because they were looking at the number 1 seed for the vast majority of the season, and now they're a wild card team.
Because they fucking have lost the shitty ass teams.
Shit the bed.
They did. No, and I don't disagree.
Cardinals and Giants.
They know what it takes to get to a Super Bowl, man. Baker Mayfield's a fucking pudwhacker in the pantheon of quarterbacks, and you're going to see it.
Knowing what it takes is one thing. This is a different team.
They are ranked 32nd.
We talked about the loss of coordinators and how we thought they would affect that team.
Yes.
And it
Zach
took
has
a
been
while,
preaching that for months.
But
Dude, their offense looks inept.
And that defense.
I love that word, good use.
After having so many sacks and being so good last year on defense, this is not.
And taking Jalen Carter, one who we both all three think that he's a rookie of the year. Nobody else has performed on defense. The linebackers have been slow. The defensive ends, they don't have any sacks. And the fucking secondary went from like 4th to fucking like 31st or 32nd. They are not good on the back end.
Talk about leaving of coordinators. Patricia taking up the play calling. And having
he did this a couple weeks ago.
The defensive line go into coverage instead of pressuring. Like, what?
Because he's trying to run his Patriot defense. And there was a report this week that the players don't understand his defense. This is not...
Obviously. I mean, look at it. That's why I think we're on the other side. It just hasn't looked right.
Bird gang.
I think they're one and done, and they got a lot of decisions to make in Philly.
And we will see Monday night.
Yes.
Yes, 2 Monday night games.
You guys, that was almost an hour-long segment, y'all.
That was a good first segment.
A little bit that we're going to edit out.
We're going to come back with a coaches talk as a second segment. Basically, all the NFL coaches.
A lot of philosophical talk to happen there. This is the part of the pod that wrote itself. We
predicted most of them, and we're surprised by
so many vacancies in the NFL. So, yeah, absolutely. So this is going to to be great, dude.
Yes,
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Balls and Brews. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Easy.
Oh, don't hit the mic.
Look how dark. We got another dark one, dude.
You guys, this smells just like one of those orange balls that you smash.
Holy shit.
All right, let's hear it.
Definitely ain't no tasting like no 10.5.
Bombastic Brewing.
That
Mr. Bombastic is really fantastic. Bird gang. Yeah, no, dude. Okay, chocolate orange imperial stout, and I am not lying to you guys. Okay, you know those fucking wrapped orange, like the chocolates that like taste like orange. They're in the shape of the orange, and you have to smash it so that it opens.
I'm pretty sure that's the inspiration behind
It's gotta be,
dude. It's delicious, and even the you do get like some of that chocolate too.
Of course,
dude. It's fucking good.
The orange right off the top, though. Yeah, right off the rip.
You smell the orange. It's the first flavor, but there is the notes of chocolate on the back end.
In your stocking, dude. It matches that flavor impeccably.
Yes,
and it's 10%. So watch the fuck out. I mean,
wonderful.
That's it's unfortunate that like even though America has one of the most bubbling brewing scenes in the world, we're known for the shittiest 5% beers. Most average people who drink could not handle more than one of these. You know what I mean? Even though it tastes like fucking orange, 10% for a beer is
that's heavy.
That's a punch.
Yes.
And we done 2 heavies.
And there's 7.8 for that first Baltic.
Eat my breakfast.
So much more. I love this though. Breakfast. Like how great is this that we had the traditional, more malty, dry-esque style porter, and now we're doing the sweet, it's a good balance of dark beers. We love dark beers on this pod for sure. Like it took us a while to get Downey converted, but now that he's on the train, he drinks like 19 Guinnesses every time he goes out.
I had like 3 last night.
3.
Do you have anything else on this beer?
No, it's delicious. It's gonna kick me in my pants, but it's good.
Oh well, here let's give a shout out. It's from Boise, you guys.
Oh, nice.
So Bombastic Brewing, Santa Claus, and we showed off the can 10.5. We've mentioned that. Boise, Idaho.
Right up the street.
I guess if you will, it's not that far of a drive to Boise, but we've never had anything out of there of note. So where did you find this, Trev?
This was at Total Wine.
Shout.
I haven't seen a chocolate orange beer before, so I wanted to
So this
try
was
it.
100% just taking a shot.
Yeah, 100%.
Let's go.
I like the flavor of this beer. I would like it even more though if it was a little creamier.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I think could be the difference.
I don't know, because just coming from a Baltic, I would say there's a decent. It's not creamy, I guess. There's not that like frothiness, but it doesn't go light as you swallow though. I will say that like some beers, they start off super front and then don't so much in the back. Like this is a solid beer throughout.
Good job.
You know, yeah, laugh all you want, Downey. This is a podcast about beer. And
That wasn't what had me laughing, Chuck. Chuck
was my hand doing the gestures properly?
Chuck swallowing. As we talk about get off the beer and we get into this.
Get off the beer.
8 coaches fired. 8 teams. 8 teams need coaches. I guess 3 teams had already fired coaches. Panthers, Raiders, and Chargers during season.
True fires, yeah. True fires.
Those words are true fires. At the end of the season, right at the end, basically like midnight, Commanders released.
Monday.
Yeah, Commanders released Ron Rivera. Falcons, which we thought could happen, Arthur Smith.
It needed to. Mediocrity is not enough in the NFL.
And then surprise firing. We talked about on the pod that I had heard that the Titans or that Vrabel wanted out, and then they fired him. That was kind of a surprise to me. What did you guys think on that one?
Well, I mean, technically that works out then for both people.
But did you find it being surprising that he was let go?
I found it a bit surprising. I heard that it was kind of an ownership issue that led to this. I even more surprising though, I thought it was the Seahawks.
And then that was the next team, Seahawks, let go of Pete Carroll. And then last but not least, the Patriots part ways, or same with the Seahawks, which Pete said he fought hard and not football people. We'll get in that in our fandom. Easy there, Charlie. You're blowing microphones. And then last but not least, the Patriots.
I don't even know what just happened right there.
And
was I breathing too heavy? I was breathing too heavy. I almost passed out when we showed
And then last but not least, and the first thing we're going to start with is the Patriots let go of Bill Belichick, or mutually part, or whatever you want to call it. So eight altogether. But let's start with the Pats. Obviously, they let go of Bill. I think we got to cheers to him. He's obviously the GOAT.
What's insane, you guys? Okay, I also need to double drink me and you need to double drink because I was super wrong and you were super right. You called Belichick being out this season, and I think, Trevor, you agreed with him, but I was staunchly on the idea that there's no way that it ends this way.
I knew I fucking saw it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to drink twice for eating a big old bag of wrong right there.
Well, and so we did a breakdown before the season started of rosters. And we went through rosters, and there were rosters where like, man, this roster's bad, this roster's good. That roster was easily one of the worst fucking rosters that we looked at.
I wouldn't disagree with that. We graded it very low, and we were right overall.
And so him being out,
how did they get that flavor in there?
I don't know. It's crazy. It's all. But he also had like not very good GM skills. His drafting's awful.
Terrible. That was what led to the downfall of the regime, is because he couldn't bring in anything behind.
Was it that or having defensive coordinators as a OC and not managing the quarterback position correctly?
Oh, I mean, when you put it that way.
But also, you were slow. Look what you drafted. You were never drafting
all
dudes
of it was
that
bad.
Yes.
It was the perfect storm of shit.
He
needed to go. Football has left him in the past.
There was an article that came out I saw yesterday that said that he didn't draft Debo and or AJ Brown because they had too much fun on their visit to the Patriots' place.
Wow. This is like opposite from Saban. Saban, I feel like, evolved as college football changed. I don't feel like Bill Belichick has changed.
Correct.
And I think that's his biggest downfall in all of this. Like, as far as coaching, there was a lot of big coaches that came on the market or were available this season. As big as his name is, I would put him closer to the bottom of coaches I would want.
Would you ever hire him?
I hire him if I am the Chargers, because I think they have enough players already there that he can make it work.
I think that roster's not very good anymore.
They still have pieces. I think that it was just mismanaged by Staley. Other than that, as far as the open jobs, I don't think
Are
he
you
does good in any of them
Are you
unless
giving him
something
full
else comes
control
open.
though, like GM
No.
stuff too?
Not at all. No
Just
chance.
so does he take the job if he doesn't get full control of the roster?
That's if he doesn't want a job, that's up to him.
Nailed it.
Chuck,
Fucking beautiful, dude.
I think the Falcons are the only
But I
spot.
think that's exactly what it is. You put him in a box. You say, Mr. Belichick. It didn't work as Belichick, the GM. You are a coach, and you are a great coach. We cannot deny that. You've done this in the NFL at an elite level for decades. You can coach your ass off, but your GM role is not here. So you let him know 100% right off the rip, and it's whether or not he wants the job.
I think that the Falcons could
I
be a
love
spot.
that take. God damn, good.
That
take,
was the
man.
only other place I could see him being all right, but the quarterback is just an issue there.
And I would not, if I was the Chargers, I would not bring Bill in. I don't want him fucking
Fuck
up
no.
Justin Herbert. There's one other spot.
Oh, well,
There's one sneaky spot.
Well, just to say, if he did go to Atlanta, 100%.
Russell Wilson would be the quarterback.
I think it would be Jimmy Garoppolo, actually.
Oh, good call. Nice take. I like that. I would think that Russell Wilson would be kind of a quarterback for him too
We're
because
throwing out some hot takes here. I love that.
you don't have to pay him the first year, and then he can just hand the ball off and run kind of that Bill Belichick offense. So Russell might be a pick there too.
My thought with Jimmy, just real quick, is just because he didn't really get to see that out. They liked him originally. I think there's still some unsettled business there.
Dude, he's done.
Also,
He can't throw a ball outside the numbers.
I mean, if you're Atlanta, though, you're still drafting a quarterback, so he would definitely be the bridge guy, is what I would see.
Go ahead, Charlie.
I was just gonna say that, like, I honestly think that it depends on who the regime they bring in, because with those skilled position players,
Whew.
That's what I'm saying.
both Garoppolo or Wilson, if you think of both of them, if you think of both of them as their true game manager, best to their abilities, and they're wheeling and dealing, both of them do have enough in the right system to get it done. Because this is the point that I was thinking of, that the Atlanta defense actually was top 10 in certain metrics across the league. Like, that defense is younger. They rebuilt it, yes. And I think that with the right regime on offense to push Kyle Pitts, to get Bijan unlocked, Tyler Algier still there. Algier is still there.
He's that difference maker for whatever team he goes to for
Yeah,
the defense.
so whichever, it really depends on the system that they bring in there. But I don't think either of those quarterbacks, because Atlanta's not getting a quarterback at 8, right? Like, they're gonna have to move up or down the game.
I don't know.
I think that.
Okay.
So I think their offense line's really good too, right? They are. Atlanta's offense line's good. So, and were you drafting now at like 8, right?
8, yes.
You're maybe looking at, if you do not move up, they're one of the more interesting teams on bouncing up into that like 5 range or under 5. But if you don't move up, because you went and did Garoppolo or Russell Wilson, you take that edge defender that's there or whatever that also boosts your defender. If their offensive line's good, think about their skill positions. Like Chuck named it, dude. They're set. They're a quarterback away with a couple defensive
with the
studs.
right coach and the right system.
Especially
if they nail
in that
that
division.
yes. Great fucking point. Absolutely. The NFC South is down, and they're not necessarily getting any better.
No.
Like, that is a wonderful point, Trev.
But I do have one more sneaky team for Mr. Belichick.
Let's go.
If the Packers beat the Cowboys in opening weekend,
Cowboys?
and Mike McCarthy, because Jerry Jones,
Gotcha.
didn't give McCarthy a pass. He said, "We'll see how he does."
Jimmy Johnson. He got Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones confused.
Jerry Jones and Bill Belichick have a very good relationship. I think Jerry would absolutely love
Jump
Bill
at
to
that
be the
chance?
coach. Yes, jump at it. If Mike does not win against the Packers, Mike McCarthy will be done, and Jerry Jones will go get Bill Belichick.
Okay, I've never really been a fan of Mike McCarthy, but I think
He's done such a good job.
He's done a good job, man. He's getting a lot of
My mind is blown,
shit.
Downey. My mind is blown.
I'm glad I blew it.
The fact that was even back there, chestnut checkers, y'all. That shit's ridiculous. The whispers around McCarthy have been real though for a while because he can't get it done in the playoffs. I mean, he's running to a Shanahan team, the Niners. The last couple of years.
I think if he wins the first one, I think he's safe. I think if he loses the first one, I think that
it's only if he drops to the Packers. Correct. If he comes out and beats the Packers, but then they're still going to be at home their second game. Correct. Because they don't have to go to San Francisco until they win. They got to win 2 games to get there.
Set up to get there though.
Well, you also have to win your first game to make sure. Anyway, whatever. I think that you're going to lose.
Okay, so let's jump back into the Pats.
Doesn't matter who they play.
Pats have now hired Gerard Mayo as their head coach.
That is also, yeah.
That was kind of all the whisperings around there was that he was going to be the coach. Some people thought maybe Vrabel, but a lot of people thought that Gerard Mayo was going to take that job over.
Yes, a bit of a surprise. They definitely, in-house, they got to know him. They got to like him, obviously, to make that play as quick as they did.
I didn't think it was a surprise. With all the whisperings that he could have been the one, I think that it was a pretty set deal that he was going to be, even with Vrabel on the market.
I just find it a little bit of a surprise, not only with Vrabel on the market, but Harbaugh possibly on the market. I know, I don't think he would have went there with all the options available to him, but I think that's at least a name you should consider no matter what organization you are.
I do too. Well, except for my team. I don't know. We'll get into it.
We'll get it.
Yeah. So the next team, let's start with the Panthers. I think that this job, or not, sorry, we already started past.
Undesirable.
I think that's why Eric Bieniemy might be the head coach of the Panthers because he has interviewed for job after job after job and not gotten them. I think that nobody really wants to take that job to work for Tepper, and I think he'd be chomping at the bit to get a head coaching job. That's who goes to this team, is a person that's chomping at the bit to be a head coach. You're not getting a dude from the Lions. He's got way too many fucking options. Yeah. He's got way too many options to be going to coach for fucking David Tepper. I think this is a undesirable job, and I think it's a job that somebody takes because they want to be a head coach that bad.
That makes a lot of sense to me. The only thing is, though, I think Tepper is going to throw it all at coaches that are available like Harbaugh. And it depends on what else is open to them because I don't think Carroll goes there, but I think he's going to offer him everything. He's going to give him GM. He's going to give him all whatever he wants.
That's what
he's
people
going to
said.
Give him the highest amount that he can make. I feel too.
That's why they said Belichick might be a dude too to go there because he's given full control. Which would be an awful. That would be fucking awful for Bryce Young's fucking development. God,
I agree. And that's the only job I feel like that offers him full control as well.
That's the only job that offers him full control. Charlie?
The Panthers are going to be so bad. It doesn't matter what happens, dude. There's not anything that can save
that roster.
You're already out on Bryce Young?
That roster's not good. He needs an offensive line.
Exactly.
He needs receivers. He needs running backs. He has zero.
Aquanu,
There's a bunch of old dudes.
Aquanu hasn't worked out there.
No, you're right, dude. I thought he's gonna be a stud.
Yeah, no, there's nothing that you can really tip your hat other than Brian Burns, and you need to move him. But you need to move him. They should have traded him to the Rams when they got those 2 first-round picks. I mean, it's bad ownership, bad GM. No, the Panthers are going in the dark ages, you guys. There are clear signs that Bryce Young is going to be wasted. They fucked up the first round pick.
Their defense is okay.
I want to hear you speak, but let me put a bow on this. I think they're going to be bad for at least 5 to 10 years. I think this is it. I think they are done.
I can see that happening. I just think with the right player, if they were somehow able to pull in Harbaugh and he makes the moves in free agency, in the South, they're not that far away. They just have to hit a lot.
There's only 2
They have to nail the draft. They have to nail free agency.
Well, they don't. Nail that head coach. They made the wrong moves with their picks.
That's
the detriment. They have a shit roster and no picks, so it doesn't matter who's coming in. I'm telling you, they are going cellar dweller.
There's only 2 teams that Harbaugh goes to, and they play in the same fucking division.
LA or the
West.
That's the only 2 teams he's going to. Correct.
Really? Is there whispers to that too? Is there whispers to that? Because I've only really heard the link to
Mark Davis have a very fantastic relationship because he coached under Gruden there. Bill Callahan. John Harbaugh or Jim's only going to one of those 2 teams. I think the Seahawks are a sneaky slide for him. Other than that,
so weird. That'd be a weird one.
other than that, I don't think the Titans, Falcons maybe, but I don't think he goes that way. I think that's really the either LA, Vegas, and maybe sneaky Seattle.
I want to know what's next up for teams because we sidebarred in the Panthers. So
Panthers. So let's go Chargers, which we just talked about. I think that
they're wide open, dude.
Well,
they can. If Spanos isn't an idiot, they can get all of these top prospects. LA is the most ready team.
You
right?
should be throwing
with
the
that
bag.
quarterback.
You should be throwing the bag at Harbaugh to come coach Herbert. That roster is not very good, though.
If that's
the
the guy
receivers
you
can't
want.
stay healthy. The running back doesn't stay healthy. The fucking defense is old as dirt. So I think that roster is not as good as it could be. I think Brandon Staley killed that roster. That roster was so good under him. They should have been winning way more, and they weren't. I think that roster has gotten way too old now. I think they need receiver help. I think they need a lot of help on that roster. But I think Harbaugh is the right coach to fucking do it, dude. Him and Herbert would fucking sling it, dude. That'd be sick.
We haven't really talked about it yet, but Harbaugh, it just makes so much sense. I see him winning that college national title, and his dad had it. His brother has the Super Bowl. He wants to be the guy that has both.
Yep, he's so competitive.
And it's the competitive
So
nature.
competitive.
And I think he can
And
because
he got there and lost.
He can do it.
He got there and lost with Kaepernick. So I think. What do you think, Charlie? You're over there with your arms.
For the Chargers.
Yeah.
Well, the whispers have been there. So normally when there's smoke, there's fire. Like I think that this is just a matter of timing, and it'll happen that way because it's. But Spanos, here's the thing: the ownership group in LA is fucking dumb.
But they said they were willing to pay whatever they could.
They fucking better be because they didn't
should
shell out for the actual team and for the stadium. But if you came for the coach, then do what you got to do.
And and did you know that some of the Spanos' family has played at Michigan?
I mean, Harbaugh should be the guy.
So fine, it's all connected there, and that's what I'm saying. So it should make sense, and it's fine. Come back to California, come back to sunny LA. I don't blame you. Pick up a nice paycheck, go for a Super Bowl, do what you're, you said having both between, and he'd be the fifth coach to be able to do that. Because we're gonna talk on one that retired here soon that did that.
If they somehow mess it up, though, I think Harbaugh should be the first guy.
There's another sneaky name that's number 2, I think.
I like Ben Johnson as number 2.
I think number 2 could be
Belichick?
Nope. Bring Pete back. Bring Pete back to LA. He's got the quarterback. He wins the press conference.
Okay.
He is back in LA. He brings the energy to that team. Pete's a very sneaky too. I think Ben Johnson's a great call too for them. I just think Pete's in the running. Sorry, Charlie. I think Pete's in the running for that job. And that's the only job that he's in the running for.
And since you've taken it there, I mean, I think Pete got pushed out. I think he still wants to be a head coach.
Let's wait. Hold on. We got to pause. Yeah, we're going to pause on that.
Okay.
Let's jump into the Commanders, which I think is the only desirable part about this job is they just hired they just hired Trev's guy
for front
That's
office.
right. Yes, I
the
saw
GM
that.
or player
management dude.
Vice president.
But they hired him to be GM. You do have the number 3 pick, right? Two. So you are getting either Caleb or Drake. So you're getting one of a franchise quarterback. There are pieces there. I think that Rivera is too old school. He won't get another job.
DC, not head.
What do you guys think? I mean, I don't even know who the Commanders are even going to go after. They already got a GM, so now it's coach time. You're getting a quarterback at number 3. 2. Sorry, 2.
Again, Harbaugh, Johnson got to be on the list of.
Harbaugh would be a sneaky pick for this one.
They need the pendulum to go the other way. So when extremes go to one way so far, and you forget about one side of the ball, like they tried this defense forever, and Ron Rivera was the second addition, to try this Chase Young, and then they ended up dealing him, and they dealt Montez Sweat. So they're clearly saying that they need to.
And it should have been sick. Look what Montez Sweat did in Chicago,
right? Which was, I would say, a lesser team or a lesser defense overall.
Should have paid him.
Can we sidebar real quick?
We're already sidebarring.
We're sidebarring. We didn't talk about Chicago. So Chicago didn't fire their coach, but
Should have fired the coach.
But fired their whole offensive staff. So,
What does that mean?
Right. So you bring in a whole new offensive staff, right?
Okay.
But then, do you keep Justin or you take a quarterback? Because now, if you suck next year, do they fire the head coach? Which means that the whole offensive staff now goes again too. So now you've just fucked the whole year over for your rookie. What the fuck are they doing?
I thought they should have let go of Eberflus and started new, drafted Caleb. But now that you brought him back, it makes me think you're going to stick with Fields. You trade that pick. You get incredible equity as far as you go forward.
I don't think if you're the Bears, you can trade past 3 because you need to come out with Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, you're not trading too far down.
Or just take him at 1. He's the best player in the draft.
I don't think you take him at 1. There's going to be too much that's offered for that pick.
I don't think you can trade back too far because the Cardinals are going to take Marvin Harrison at 4, and they're not moving. Unless Marvin Harrison's gone.
Zach, I think you're missing the point though, because the equity that you can get in return is well above one prospect in Marvin Harrison Jr. Like if you do the same exact thing they did last year and move somewhere around the 8 or 9 mark, and they get 2 more additional first round picks or some shit, like.
But you also have to hit on those picks.
Well, of course,
Marvin Harrison's legitimately like a number 1 as soon as he walks in the league.
But you're going to get offers from even Washington.
But that's
one to just that one.
That's what I'm saying. So you can
still get Harrison before the Cardinals pick.
That's what I'm saying. If you trade down, you don't go past the Cardinals.
I think it
there's
depends on the value of the
good
offer.
Wide receivers.
I think it really depends on the value of the offer.
Tuesday in Washington, you don't trade
Neighbors, Coleman.
Why miss on a generational wide receiver?
I think those both can be generational. Though.
I don't. You have both. Dude, the Bengals didn't draft an offensive line to protect Burrow and took Jamar Chase because he's the best dude in the draft. Why would you miss it? You have DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison on the same side. You don't know if Neighbors is going to be good. You know Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be elite.
I think Malik Neighbors is going to be fantastic. He had like 1,500 yards and 8 touchdowns. I think he's
going
to be fantastic.
He's going to be good. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think if you miss on him as the Bears, if you don't take Caleb, you're missing on the draft.
To me, it's just nearsighted. I think that you can spread that pick so vastly more.
But have you ever hit? You don't.
I know. I get it.
You don't hit on other picks anyways.
You spread a wider net, you catch a better. That's just how I think. I get you too. If you rate Marvin Harrison that high, and
he's the best. He's number 2. Caleb Williams is 1. Marvin Harrison is the second best player in the draft.
I've heard it flipped in some.
Some people have
said it. No fucking way. Those people are crazy. You see this?
Well, then call them
okay,
crazy,
so let's get back to. So we were Commanders. We don't really know who they're going to hire. We obviously think
it's just that's a strange position, right? Like nobody's really super jumping at that.
No,
but they are under new ownership, which does help.
New GM, new ownership.
Belichick has been linked because of his past, but I think
that's the wrong move. That's the wrong move.
Yeah.
No, don't put Belichick.
Don't put Belichick.
Let's roll into the Titans, which was surprising. Why did you think the Titans go throw the money at the Ben Johnson thing? Like you do the super swoop, like you did, like said Chuck, go from one dude to another dude. But that roster's not good.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Because that roster's not good.
Okay, they better have a plan. Because getting rid of a guy who was a coach of the year 2 years ago doesn't really sound like a good plan. I don't know. That one's weird to me. I do too. Very weird to me.
It makes it even more weird that you hear everything that's come out about Vrabel wanting A.J. Brown and then moving on from A.J. Brown. That was obviously the wrong move, and then they're going to be like, nah, even though that was the wrong move, we're going to continue to...
their receiving core is trash because D-Hop is going to retire here soon.
And then what's his name? Can't stay healthy. The kid from Arkansas.
Yeah, Treylon Burks.
He's really good when he's in.
I think he's played like 8 games in 2 seasons.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it's been. What's your best ability?
Availability. He's really good when he plays. He's really good when he's in, but he doesn't fucking play.
You gotta get on the goddamn field, bro.
And they're getting, their offensive line so they drafted.
Skoronski needs to take another step.
Exactly.
That's what the Bengals tried a couple years ago. They did that whole thing where it's like, they retooled, and he still got hit 50 times.
Yeah.
So. The Titans' job. Okay, here's a sidebar with it. Okay, that was going to be my sidebar. Do you think Levis is the dude?
Dude, If,
Do you think Levis is
that's
the
what
dude?
I think you throw the money at Ben Johnson. This is the one team that Ben Johnson.
So swing the pendulum. That's what you're talking about. Swing the
That's
pendulum.
everything at him.
I think this is the one team, like other than the Falcons, if I was Ben Johnson, I have Levis. I get a reasonable high draft pick. So I can either take a defensive stud, either depending on how defensive guys go, I can take one, maybe the 2 top tackles in alt or kid from Penn State.
Receiver.
Or I can get one of these neighbors or Dunze at that like spot and I don't have to move, right? Like I'm
That's
getting
nice. You're getting top talent at that
and
spot.
I have
for
a
sure.
quarterback, so I don't have to move up.
Okay.
I got my guy.
Okay.
So I think that's why that Ben Johnson.
But that's what you have to sell the new coach on.
But
that's
if
exactly what you have to sell the new coach on.
And if
What if
I'm-
he doesn't like Levis?
and if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm literally looking at Chargers, obviously. I'm
Chargers.
looking at the Titans because they have the quarterback. I think
Do you think he's the most sought after? Do you think Ben Johnson is the
after-
biggest name right now?
after Harbaugh, yes.
After Harbaugh.
I do think that Flores is in play, and I thought that New England would have get Flores a look.
I think Harbaugh gets to choose, though, right?
Correct.
Like
Yes.
if
But
right?
I-
Like because technically he hasn't made. There's been nothing in the media other than
Right.
speculation. He
Correct.
hasn't said I'm leaving Michigan for anything. Like so.
So
okay.
and I think that yes, I think. But if you're Harbaugh, I think I talked about it. Raiders, Chargers, Seahawks. I think that after that,
He's not coming to you.
Falcons. You have pieces, but you don't want to go south.
But we're all there on Harbaugh as far as he's going to the NFL. This is the time.
I suppose
he
so.
has that
Yeah,
competitive
we've
edge where
definitely
he wants both.
we have spoken
He wants
that
to
into
say, I'm better
existence.
than my dad. I'm better than my brother. I want one of each. I'm that competitor.
Harbaugh's one gets a pick. Ben Johnson's two. As soon as Harbaugh signs, Ben Johnson's going to sign because Ben Johnson's the number 2 person. Belichick's so far fucking down the list. We're going to get into the Seahawks stuff, and I'm not, as an outsider looking in, not a hater of Chuck's team. I'm very scared that they're going to go one way, and I don't think the way they go is going to be a good way. And I will talk about it when Chuck gets his time. Let's get into the Falcons, and then we'll go into the fandom with Raiders and Seahawks. Falcons is one of the
We
more
close.
interesting
We
jobs,
close.
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got
No
no
quarter-
skilled players.
But you're
man.
drafting an 8 with no quarterback. So do you have to move into 5 to get one of the 3, unless you love Bo, JJ, or Penix, correct?
I mean, I think you're really
But you're not blowing them
looking.
at 8. None of them are going at 8.
But if you get into, you have to get into 5. You have to get under 5 to be hopefully in the Jaden Daniels
Yeah,
conversation.
Daniels, I think, is who you're looking at. If somehow you can't make that move and get him, then
Goddamn, I hope
Penix
he drives.
becomes that next play where you wouldn't have to move. It might be a little high there.
So you
but
trade back if you because you don't. You need an
I don't
edge.
know.
You need an
You
edge.
just might make that move.
Honestly, though, no, seriously, if you are the right coach, you look at Atlanta and you're ready to go. That
It's-
team,
it
that
should-
team is
it's close.
right there. No, exactly. That's what I'm
But
saying.
that quarterback is so important. Like
It is, but
I don't think you can make that move like, oh, let's get the defense better and not have that quarterback
no,
selection.
I understand for
There's
sure.
not
That's
a free
that's,
agent that's like, oh, okay.
that's why Seattle fluttered.
Is that why?
Sorry.
Is that why?
We
Fucking,
love you.
Is
We're
that
gonna get
Russ?
into that.
Is that Russell Wilson's only landing spot?
Yeah.
No.
You think there's others?
No, I think that he gets to.
definitely be a
I
choice
think
there.
if Russ is smart, he sits out and he waits for injuries. I don't think he signs early. I think that he should leverage himself because he's got more than enough money to hang the fuck out if he wants to.
Commanders and Falcons would be the 2 teams that I look at.
But he does put him. He does his arc is competitiveness, so he wants to play week 1. Like he doesn't
Correct.
want to wait.
Correct.
But I think if he is smart, he waits and he gets the team that he wants because there's going to be an injury. There's going to be things. There's going to be doors opening. Quarterbacks, it always happens. Flacco is starting the Cleveland Browns in the playoff game.
Well, and since we're there, I'm gonna go touch on it. Like,
We're touching it.
I was a bit disappointed with Sean Payton. Like, I didn't think Russell Wilson played that bad, but they seem to be like on the
Totally
on the
different
fence from
terms.
the beginning. It just
Which is crazy because we thought that was going to be a good alignment,
he was
right?
brought in to make him worth that contract.
Him again. He is him.
I think Sean Payton
Not Russ.
came into it already not on a Russell Wilson vibe, and then it did. And then you know
It
what I'm
got
saying? Like
progressively worse.
yeah. Like he couldn't do his offense. He didn't want to. He didn't want to wear the like the bracelet. He doesn't call the plays. There's rumors that the playbook had to be like dumbed down. It seemed not dumbed down, but like less verbiage. It just seemed like Sean and him were never on the page, and Sean was never going to be on his page. And I think this is the perfect opportunity. This is the only opportunity that they can get out of this contract and only take a minimal hit.
And honestly,
minimal is $36 million.
Okay,
I don't think that's minimal. Fuck, that's the best thing they get out of.
Once again, I will tell you, as somebody who watched 10 years of Russell Wilson football, like religiously, I watched every game that guy played in a Seahawk uniform, and he is good. He is. He can throw the ball. He can scramble. He can read the pocket. If you get him in the right system, in the right vibe with those fucking skill players in Atlanta, it depends on the staff around him. It's not the skill players in Atlanta, it's the staff is the question, right? If the staff is right and they feed to Russell Wilson's like positivity, then they can make him ball. But if they bring in some fucking boo-boo, team, and then he comes in, he's gonna be 2.5 or 3.0 in Atlanta. He's gonna still be shit.
Belicheck, Russell Wilson, Atlanta Falcons.
No, because he's gonna fuck it up. No, once again, Bill Belichick has no idea what to do with a quarterback.
Arthur Smith though, but he doesn't have to figure it out.
Who's he going to bring in, though? Who's his OC? Patricia and Joe Judge?
No,
we just talked about this.
You bring in Josh McDaniels, and Josh McDaniels is a fine OC.
He would click with Russell Wilson.
Correct.
That's that bullshit that they would be on.
Dude,
I wouldn't disagree with that. They sniff their own farts together. They'd be in a room, locked in the room together, sniffing farts.
And that's why I think that same three people pairing is a very interesting Commanders too. Like if the Commanders make the big spot, it's right.
There's a lot of pieces in Washington on the offensive side of the ball too. McLaurin, Logan Thomas has been healthy. He's been playing well. Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson can catch the ball out of the backfield, which is huge for Russ.
Dude, I'm telling you,
there's a lot of conspiracies going on over here.
Two teams. There's two. Before you get into Fandom, there's two teams I feel that Bill, Russ, and Josh McDaniels fit perfect on, and it's the Commanders and Falcons.
We just spoke a little bit of truth to that.
It's kind of weird.
Spoke a little bit of truth to that.
It's kind of weird. But your Commanders already have the GM, so he doesn't get full control. Falcons, I don't think.
Arthur Smith is a great owner. I don't know who the GM is right now, though.
I think Arthur Smith was the coach.
Not Arthur Smith. I'm sorry, Arthur Blank.
Correct. I think that if Vrabel gets a job, though, Arthur Smith is his offensive coordinator because it was very good in Tennessee.
Yep.
Before they left.
Interesting.
So I think that if Vrabel gets a coaching job, I think he brings Arthur Smith
happens pretty quick.
A lot. Dude, they feel comfortable with. They feel comfortable.
100%.
Who do you think is in the lead for Vrabel?
Dude, I don't know because so this is the point I want to make, and I'm gonna and we're going into Fandom.
Yes.
I've preached this offensive coordinator, offensive thing forever.
But
you look at the playoffs. There's like three. There's John Harbaugh is not an offensive person, but he's like special teams. Sean McDermott's a defensive coordinator or defensive-minded person. Everybody else, I think there may be one more that I'm missing. Everybody else is fucking an offensive mind. Kyle Shanahan calls his own plays. Mike McDaniels calls his own plays. Sean McVay calls his own plays.
I never heard of these guys.
You don't have your offensive coordinator doesn't leave. So the problem we talked about with the Bears is you sign an offensive staff, right? What happens if you get this hot offensive coordinator, then he's gone? The offensive coordinator to coach Ben Johnson. There's a real shot that the Lions fucking suck next year without Ben Johnson. All of a sudden they bring in the wrong guy and he doesn't mesh with Goff and they really suck. It is a very true fact. Watching the Eagles just like have a very hard time. Andy Reid calls his own plays. The Eagles have a very hard time because Nick Sirianni goes to the Colts, right? Yes. Nick Sirianni kills it as a fucking Colts.
Sirianni is the Eagles head coach. You're talking about Steichen.
Steichen. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. So Steichen leaves, and I knew it from the beginning. Steichen is a fucking stud.
You did call that. You called that from distance for sure. Literally, as it happens, you're like, the Eagles are going to suffer. You called that.
So now I'm sitting here, and my heart is telling me,
I'm hot.
Antonio Pierce should be your head coach.
But
my head's telling me, as I look at the offensive landscape, what I know about football, the way that football goes, is that we should be looking at Ben Johnson and or Jim Harbaugh. If Jim doesn't bring fucking JJ, The 13th pick makes me so nervous that Jim brings JJ. It fucking makes me so nervous that I don't want him as my coach.
He did nothing in the playoffs to make me think that he's gonna be the dude.
He played well against your team.
Yes, he did. He had some throws that were
The biggest
game.
To be fair, he did have. He had to make about 3 throws and he made them. So
even on the move, he
Penix missed the 3 throws he needed to make.
Correct.
So I mean,
I'm a bigger Bo Nix fan. That's the only reason.
Because he's got a lot more experience under his belt. He's just the dude.
Well, I just think Bo is just like, dude.
He's the dude. He knows football.
Wants to play.
He has started for 4 years at 2 really good fucking colleges. I'm
good. But as we sit here, I know I preach the offensive stuff, but I saw it with my eyes on how the team developed. Like Malcolm Kuntz comes out and becomes a force to reckon with the last so many games. If you keep Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham, God, I hope we don't lose Patrick Graham. As your D coordinator, Antonio Pierce is your head coach, and you go out and make a move for. I don't think the offensive coordinator is good. I'm a big Cliff Kingsbury fan. I would throw the bag at him to come in because he's already been a head coach. So now you have another head coach person in the building that can help Antonio Pierce.
Well, and he's an offensive-minded guy.
Correct.
That's a beautiful
And that's
call.
what they would need if they hired Pierce because he's been great for their defense. He's a defensive guy.
This is GM Downey speaking facts, y'all. I don't want to shit on this because I do want to shit on this because I don't like the Raiders. But if they make these moves, those are solid. That's a solid suggestion.
But it's so hard to fucking sit here and talk about. Okay, Panthers, or let's go. Seahawks defense coach fired. Falcons was offense coach. Titans defense coach fired. Pats defense coach fired. Commanders defense coach fired. Chargers defense coach fired. Panthers was the only other offensive coach. Raiders.
Yeah,
3 out of the 8 coaches
is fucking hard to play. Defense is hard to fucking play.
I think defensive coaches don't bring offenses along. It's evident in Mike Tomlin too, and I love Mike Tomlin. Dude, it's evident. And him right now is a winning coach. There was no offense there for fucking years.
It's been a long while.
Defensive coaches,
even the end of the Roethlisberger era wasn't great in Pittsburgh.
Correct. We gave Mike Stefanski our fucking coach of the year because he had Kevin Stefanski, because he had 7 fucking quarterbacks, dude, and he still won. The dude for the Vikings, right? O'Connell.
Yeah.
How many quarterbacks he played? They still were very competitive. If he doesn't lose Kirk Cousins, dude, they make the playoffs.
Yeah.
That team was on a fucking roll.
I was low on the Vikings. You were high on the Vikings. It worked out more in my favor just because of the quarterback situation. Josh Dobbs came in, played a couple electric games, and then fell off pretty quick.
But it is literally, that's why I sit here and I fucking fight with my own self. Love Antonio Pierce, want to be that coach, but I'm like, dude, why do I want a defensive head coach? None of them are in the fucking playoffs. They all get fucking fired. You don't develop quarterbacks as a defensive head coach.
So overall, to put a bow on it, you want an offensive-minded head coach.
I don't know. I'm struggling. Dude, I can't figure it out.
Know.
I can't figure it out. I would love Antonio Pierce to be the head coach if you went and got maybe a Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay, no, that's it. I think that's your number one. That's your number one aspect.
But then Ben, I really do. If Jim came in, I would not necessarily argue it, but I would be like, Jim, you can't take JJ at fucking 13. I have 3 prospects you can take, and those are the only 3 that you can take.
I feel like he wants to take him though at certain jobs that he would be offered.
I know, and mine is one of them.
Yes,
man.
Sidebar: should the Bears and Saints fire their head coach?
Should have, yes, both of them should.
Oh, absolutely, the Saints.
The Bears should have fucking reset the market.
I think
the Saints did. The Saints are another weird one. Sidebar again into this sidebar. Saints fired their offensive staff too. So the Bears and Saints both do the exact
no
same
longer in the
fucking
fandom.
thing. Bears and Saints both do the exact same thing and fire their offensive staffs. That is so weird.
Dennis Allen is not right.
No, he's a great defense coordinator.
He's got to go
Great defense coordinator.
New Orleans. Dude, he is not going to get you over any hump. And Eberflus isn't either. It's just...
great defensive coordinator.
You guys, okay. We've watched enough football to see the spark. In neither one of those head coaches is there any spark. I don't have any feeling, anything going into 2024 that makes my testicle, sparkle. I want to sparkle. I don't feel any sparkle with those guys.
I think that there is a difference
Spearfinger.
in you can be a great coordinator,
Right, and not be the right head coach.
Steve Spagnuolo for the Chiefs. He's an amazing defense coordinator. He sucked at head coach, right? Arthur Smith could go back to being a great offensive coordinator for somebody, but he sucks at head coach.
Right.
You can be an
Sometimes you
amazing
spread yourself
coach.
too thin. Look, a lot of guys aren't fit out. They're not fit to be Batman. Okay, they make really good Robins. Okay,
Correct.
That Robin is a very necessary feature in the team. He's got it's what makes it work. Okay, Robin makes Batman work. Okay,
Chuck,
just because you're a bad Batman doesn't mean you can be a bad Robin.
Chuck, I'm going to start your fandom off.
You're gonna start my fandom off.
I'm going to give you. I'm very, very nervous that your team goes out and gets Dan Quinn as a head coach.
I know.
Because Dan Quinn's only good years with the Falcons were when somebody else was his offensive coordinator. And it just makes me nervous to watch. And this is from an outside looking in. This is not, dude, if your team was 1-15 next year, dude, I'd laugh. We'd have a good time. Oh, I would have a good time about it. Me and Trevor laugh. You wouldn't. But the outside looking in, and I like a lot of your draft picks. I like a lot of the players you've taken. It makes me super nervous that you guys go out and do the simple thing and just go pull Dan Quinn in. Trev?
I think that makes a lot of sense if Pete Carroll's there. I think Pete Carroll wants to be a head coach still. I think there should be a lot of places that offer him a job. I think he wants to be an NFL head coach, but I think Washington should be top of the list of places that should offer him a coach job. If he wanted to go back to college, that would make too much sense. Pete would be great at Washington. You don't think so? I think that would be the best hire they could make at this point. He still has that energy.
Charlie?
Yeah, no.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. As a fandom, look, I just need to. Before we get into current day Pete, I need to speak on past Pete.
Do we do a cheers for Pete Carroll?
You guys do. I'm out of beer.
Oh, good job.
You're welcome. Pete Carroll so we hired him in 2010, and I was so shaky about it. He's coming off the only reason why I thought he left SC is because he was going into that Reggie Bush gonna be locked down era.
NCAA
was about to drop the hammer on SC, and he did.
That's why he did.
And that's okay. So
he left, but he went to the best job.
And he, within 3 years, got us a chip. And then within 4 years, got us back-to-back, appearances.
In 2 years, he got you to a playoff game.
100%.
You guys won a sucky-ass 7-9 division, and then got to the playoffs.
Beastquake, baby, let's go. That's one of the best. That's one of the best highlights of all time. Beastquake.
I was sitting at Hooters in San Francisco,
okay,
getting ready to go to a Giants game. Watched that fucking run at Hooters in San Francisco.
I was in my townhouse watching it by myself, me and my dog. And I fucking lost it, dude. If the neighbors called the police, it wouldn't surprise me because we were already leading in that game, and it was in the fourth quarter, and beast mode. It set off a seismic activity, you guys. It recorded down at the geologist office. Yeah, that's fucking. That's why it's called the Beastquake.
Fake news.
It's not. It's not.
No, I know.
But honestly, Petey, seriously, bro, you are the juice. You have set up a program up in Seattle this is what I'm worried about, is that the new regime comes in and just flattens it. He's so full of life. The dude is 72 years old, and he's the youngest dude you've ever met in your life. He is ready to fucking go at all times.
Younger than Saban and then this fucking...
No, look, you guys, I'm going to steal this
fandom.
I'm gushing. It's one of those things that, he came off of the back of the greatness of Holmgren got us to a Super Bowl, but, Pete Carroll, transcendent. The Legion of Boom and his fingerprints over the best defense in the modern era. I won't say of all time. There's debatables, but of our era, the Legion of Boom.
There's a Ravens defense that 1 year. That's still our era.
But that's so early our era. I'm talking about dude. This is 2011 to 2014. We were so completely dominant.
No, I do think it's comparable. Yes, it's amazing defense.
Anyway, I think that.
hated it.
I
fucking hated it.
I don't blame you for that.
Me
We
too,
we gave up 17 points a game, bro. Like average. Yeah.
That's all I heard.
Flap the gums.
That's all I heard.
Not from
Not from you.
I was gonna say
from
bullshit.
Seattle, from the team itself. Fucking hated that team.
But
God,
here's-
I hated that team.
Do you want to know something about living?
It's
in
still one of the
Reno?
greatest
You
defensive
didn't,
teams
but you didn't
involved.
have to deal with the fans. You know what I have to deal with every fucking day of my life? Raiders and Niners fans just wearing my colors, even when y'all motherfuckers
There's
aren't
not very
that
many
great.
Raider game fans.
You're hearing it from me.
The
You hear it from the Niner
But
fans.
this is the point: is like you heard media chirping. You don't hear local chirping. I literally I can't walk down the street with my Seahawks colors on without somebody being like "fuck the Seahawks," and that's fine. You are allowed that opinion. Like it's just crazy because I can't return it. I can't return it. I'm in enemy territory. Like, but Pete Carroll, I'm not sure if you're going to take another coaching position. If you do, best of luck. Because in theory, not in theory, technically, we kind of ran you out. You said last week, if you rewind what his words were last week, he said, "I want to be back for this team." And it is very, very bizarre that we didn't let him run it back. I think the reason why we didn't.
That way.
The reason why we didn't is because we want to go younger at quarterback. We are younger around the roster.
Start fresh.
Yes. And Pete, I'm sorry. I fucking love you, bro. I've grown to love you in so many capacities. I'm wearing so many Seahawks, everything. Your era. This is all your era, my dude. Like, you have ushered in this higher standard of Seahawk football play. We were not there before you.
True.
Holmgren was great, but we were considered a flash in the pan. Now we're perennial playoff and like contenders, and that's because of you, Pete Carroll. It is. You went through several different coordinators, and if we wipe out Shane Waldron, so be it. And if Clint Hurt has to go, he was bottom fucking third in the league. I'm sorry, you're a great motivator, but you need to go too. Like,
I was gonna say, like, your defense has been underperformed
big time
for like the last 4 years. Is it 3 or is it 4, Chuck? Like, honestly, 3 or 4 years you've been
three because when Jamal Adams first came over,
Is that
was
the
4
move
years
that
ago.
makes the move from Pete?
What do you mean?
The Adams move
Was
that
terrible.
It
No, but
was
that's
such a
no
bad move
his
by him.
No, his worst move
for-
bullshit. His worst move was Max Unger, trading Max Unger for Jimmy Graham. You
Correct.
don't get rid of an all-pro center on a running team to bring in a tight end. You don't
Never.
fucking do that. You
But-
do not do that.
I just see that as the breaking point because of that move. And
It's because he leaned into
Adams.
Russell Wilson. No, it was weird. His name is hung on the Legion of Boom banner, but he leaned into Russ, and then it didn't work.
I think that
Pete, I don't want to shit on you. I'm sorry. I love you. The whole point of this fandom was
Yeah.
supposed to be that I appreciate the fuck out of your era. I hope that the Allen family gets it right. I know that they've been talking about selling. That's a whole nother pod. But I don't know if we have a plan. It's crazy. I am a diehard Seahawk fan. I don't know if we have a plan. I
Yeah,
haven't
'cause
heard of
you do-
anything going in any direction.
because we talk about pendulum swinging, right?
Yeah. I love that
So do you
defense
go-
pendulum, though.
Do you get right?
We need it, but the pendulum swung that way, and we're still bottom.
Correct. Then that's like what I was saying. Like, you guys
Ben
haven't been
Johnson.
good like that way, right? And see, the Seahawks, I think in general, have to be a very
Attractive
job
We're
because
young.
because
We
of
have
the
all
age.
our draft picks.
Right.
Like no,
the
it's
age of the
Hit on a
team.
lot of those.
no. I think, and
It's
then
got
to be
to be
fair,
nice.
if the Allen family made this move because that's what they think, I love that. I'm sorry, Pete. I love you, and you got the juice. You're 72.
I think
years
it was
Bruh,
because
we
he's,
gotta.
I think that part of it was because
and
he
he
stuck
was
with
committed
Gino.
to Gino. He's committed to
I
Gino.
think part of it was because you guys swung it with Gino the 1 year, right?
Well,
the first year.
we swung this year too, and
But I think that was the reason you had a chance to take. There was,
dude, we're
there was
there.
opportunities to take people.
If we get in the right, this is great. Offensive minded, ready to go.
So what do your loan say? I'm over here bitching about I can't figure out what I want because I love Antonio
Right,
Pierce, but I'm an
okay.
offensive dude. What are your fucking goals?
Offensive, 100%.
You want
Period.
You want
Be
Ben.
enemy.
You want
Bring him
John. You. I see. I don't know.
No,
I worry about being.
I'm joking
but you-
about that. What I'm saying though is like I want the mind on that tip. If
HC is OC next to him.
we need to get rid of this like 3.5 yards in a cloud of dust.
Fuck yes.
It's not the NFL these days, okay? We're getting away from Geno. This is I want to hear from you too, Trev. Commit to the full rebuild. We have the offensive weapons bleeding out.
Yes.
Oh
God
my
damn
God. So all in all, you guys, like, I think it's been very clear through this segment that my roses are due to Pete Carroll, and I think that those who have watched the NFL over the last little bit need to appreciate he turned us into a perennial playoff team. You can't ask for anything better out of a coach.
Love Pete.
Yeah. So thank you, Pete. I really don't want to see you coach another team. If you do, then it is what it is, and that's professionalism, and I'm not going to shit on you. Like, I won't hold that against you, but I really hope that this is the ride off into the sunset. It feels a little shaky on that sense, but Seattle, bringing the right guy. Love you, Pete Carroll. Trev, all right, I think you got a little bit of a different fandom, but I love this topic, and I want to hear you talk about it.
So, to take it away from sports...
Because overall, podcasts can be about life.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of shows here up in Reno.
What kind of shows?
Comedy shows is what
Comedy
I've been hitting
shows.
up, especially this season. I hit up Bill Burr, which was amazing.
Oh, yes.
Great
Hilarious.
show. Great
I think
show.
that's a 3 out of 3 right there. I love Bill Burr. He's fantastic.
Yeah, no, he exceeded my expectations.
Nice. Hell yeah.
He was great. I also saw Fluffy.
Gabriel
Iglesias.
Iglesias. Yeah.
He was good. I preferred Burr a little bit more. And then tonight I'm going to see Jesselnick. That's
Nice,
it's just
dude.
been on a comedy kick. It's been great.
Nice, dude.
No, those are all three, like, in the comedy realm, those are three, like, okay, Bill Burr and Gabriel Iglesias is probably a little bit bigger than Jesselnick, but Jesselnick is still a name. Those are 2 A's and a B right there. Like, those are legit names.
Where are you watching these at? Like, what venue?
So
Is it all been at the like comedy club inside like the Legacy or whatever?
Actually, the first 2, Burr and Iglesias, were at the event center downtown.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Area. And
Where we saw Velvet Revolver and Motley Crue?
Yes, that's a
God
great
damn,
show.
that's a throwback. That's like
Throwback,
2005.
baby. But Jesselnick is actually at the GSR tonight, so
That's a better, like, for specific, like,
It should
comedy,
be good
one
for the
person.
venue.
Yes, exactly.
in the venue that we saw Megadeth.
yes,
That's the event
same
center. That's
one.
the event center.
No,
yeah.
we saw Megadeth in
At
the
the event.
GSR.
Oh well,
No.
we saw them at the event center.
Me and Trev.
That's true.
Me and Trev saw him.
They've been here a couple times.
Sure,
We've
sure.
enjoyed them.
At the
He
table
was dressed
place.
as Santa. It was the Santa crawl. Can we sidebar real
Sidebar.
quick? It was one of the craziest shows. This is 2009. I have the Endgame shirt, and the best part about it was that half the pit was dressed as Santa. It was the Santa crawl in Reno, and if you don't know what a crawl is, you should go figure it out because
It's
you
just
got to experience
bars
one.
giving
Yeah,
drinks to Santa Claus.
That's-
Pretty much
Hey.
just dress up, baby.
That's young people days, dude. That ain't
sure.
no,
I
like-
can't recover. I can't do that no more. No, no.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we saw Megadeth in
Oh,
the GSR with the table
That
in
was
front of
like
us.
04,
Oh, yeah.
05.
Remember, like
that
the
was
table in front of us, and it
throwback.
was like such a weird like venue for
mosh.
Megadeth to be in. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, we love those metal shows. I mean, so many times at the Sleep Train Amphitheater,
Oh.
the Oz Fest.
Dude, we
All
saw
the shows.
we saw Ozzy come back. We saw Ozzy's first fucking thing back at
Got
Ozfest.
ticketed at that show.
Yeah, you and JoJo did. And then you lost your hood.
Consumption underage.
And then you lost your hood going to the court date
Oh,
on your Camaro. It was
That
such a
was-
bad. I
that
like
was
didn't know
so
it happened,
bad.
and Trevor was in such a bad mood when I came over that day. I was like, "What the fuck?"
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh," I was like, "Oh shit, that sucks."
Hood wasn't latched, came off on the trip over the Sierras,
Oh,
back to town, had
Oh,
to
no.
go back to court to Downeyville, California.
My family actually founded that town, like
Downeyville.
great grand.
Really?
Yeah, no shit.
Shout.
No shit.
Shout.
Got a ticket in the town. They said Zach Downey and all your friends stand up when we got that one ticket for Stampede. Remember for drinking at Stampede? They said Zach Downey and all your friends stand up. We all had to stand up in Downeyville. Charge us 200 bones. Fucking like 8 of us. Fucking God, that sucked.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, but more on positive things. Hey, keep your eye out for all the playoffs.
Hold on. No, we're not cutting off Fandom. I want you to know that, like, stand-up... I love that Trev's fucking Fandom is stand-up comedy. Like, okay, I want a sidebar within this. If you could have a dream stand-up comic, who would it be? Who would you go and see?
But I'm
talking
close.
prime of them.
Yes, I have to be close. It would have to be either Eddie Murphy. I don't know. Kevin Hart fucking makes me laugh hard. Like, really, really hard. But Eddie's got some...
He's the OG
of
that style of comedy.
Him or Kevin. In the sidebar, we went to the one inside the Silver Legacy.
Okay.
And sat front row for, like, some people.
Sure.
Dude,
I guess I George Lopez there at the Silver Legacy.
Yeah, it's a cool little venue. And then, dude, we sat front row and they picked on us, like they picked on me, like, dude, is that your wife? And I was like, yeah. Like, there's no fucking way that's your wife.
You got picked on?
Like, just like, and then they picked on some other dude and he fucking.
You got all butthurt.
No, just, why are you even at a comedy show? You haven't even made a smile. And the guy, like, did it, dude, I was fucking rolling. He's like, and he's like telling the wife, well, he's a doctor. And it was, okay, well, the doctors don't smile. You just sit here the whole time like this. Dude, I was fucking pissing my pants. Dude, it was hilarious.
That's Reno level comedy.
Yeah.
Trevor's seen the...
No, I know.
No, but Bill Burr is a different brand of comedy. That motherfucker is funny.
Who we saw was... Inside the comedy show wasn't like the local.
It's
it was
funny
because
I've as much as I love comedy, Trev, I've never been to a real comedy show, which is fucking crazy because
what are you doing? We get it.
I don't know. That's true. I guess the shoe's on the other foot because you guys were talking about metal concerts. Do you want to know who the metal concert fucking connoisseur is? If you want to get into that, that's a whole nother fucking fandom that I will just absolutely bleed into. Like, I kept my mouth shut on that one because that's another hour.
I saw Jeff Dunham at the event.
That's a waste of time.
Oh, dude, I laughed my ass off. I love, dude, he's so funny.
Trev, you have to be the deciding vote. How do you feel?
Dude, I laughed my ass off. It was at the event center downtown.
Don't influence him. Trev, how do you feel?
I don't know.
Jeff Dunham,
the
yeah or nay?
Puppets is a little weird.
Thumbs down.
I'm more excited, definitely, about Jesselnick tonight. Like,
dude, that's dope that's tonight. That's dope that's tonight. That's dark. That is dark, dry humor, by the way. If you've never heard of Anthony Jeselnik, he's brutal. Like, he's one of those. He kind of tests the line of. Do you find, is comedy okay or not?
Correct.
Because I love the everything is okay. That's comedy.
I just want to laugh. Like, I don't take it serious.
Sure.
That's my point. Like, when the people are making fun of
because I don't take it right. I
just
don't walk into a comedy show
care.
thinking about exactly. Yes, no. It's context has to be laughed at, even if it's raw. Okay, if the context is right, I'm gonna laugh. I'm not a bad person. We're not bad people. I'm not killing anything or anybody.
Dude,
but when the joke lines up, I'm gonna laugh my ass off because it's funny.
Dave Chappelle was pushing fucking lines. Do we piss our pants laughing?
Did you watch the new one? Is that the new one? Are we plugging the new one for him? No. The new Netflix?
No, I haven't watched it. I'm just talking in general. Like, he pushes lines and we laugh our ass off when he pushes
in a time where lines weren't being pushed.
Dude, you gotta walk into the comedy show knowing that lines are going to be pushed.
Hopefully, that's a good comic. They make you think.
You can't go in there with this fucking.
Why are you a curmudgeon going into a comedy show? That's a great point.
Right.
Why would you go to something that's supposed to make you laugh and enjoy yourself with a bad attitude?
Even when they're making fun of you, dude, they don't know you.
Which is exactly why I don't
it.
go to shows that I know I'm not going to enjoy because I don't want to ruin it for other people. Like, I know that this is a sidebar within a sidebar, but it's the same concept. Don't go to things that you're gonna be uptight about. Enjoy them. Open your parameters of your view and what is acceptable. Especially in comedy, music is different. Music it's very loud and it can be abrasive and I understand liking what you like, but comedy, spoken word, attitude, personality, they can sell you so much faster. Holy shit, dude. A comedian who's just got a microphone who can talk like we can, you know what I mean?
And laughing is the best. Like, it's
Dude,
such a great feeling.
he pulls you in and then he punches you right in the mouth.
Dude, you just
have
don't
to
take
be
it serious,
ready.
dude. Who fucking cares?
Who fucking cares?
Like, oh, I'm a fucking white person.
I'll
Make
tell
fun
you
of
what I
white
care
people.
about.
Who cares?
I care about you checking us out on the X and Instagram, listening to us on Spotify and Buzzsprout, and I think we hit some seriously good topics, y'all. We went deep this year, pod.
Also, check out, we got playoff games today. We got playoff games on Monday.
Yeah, oh boy.
We got fucking head coaches.
We in the juice.
We got
We in
head
the
coaches
juice.
need to be hired for football. And there's also, which is fucking BS, we sit here and we try to talk about baseball, and there's nothing fucking going on.
Hasn't been
There are still free agents out there.
Free
so
agents.
Still, we tell you to watch every week,
every week.
and it still doesn't happen.
I'm hitting them ad libs.
But do it up. Love y'all.
We love y'all, dude. Pod 43.
Troy Polamalu.
Salute.
Out.
Dennis Eckersley.
Eckersley's better.
They're both Hall of
Debatable.
Famers. Yes.
Good job.